Oh, excuse my language, but how fuck's name did you survive being thrown off that?
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
So
We'll get to that.
I remember, and this is important because
Just before we go on, for the viewers at home, what would you say the height was? What she was just say on average, 200 foot?
From where I got pushed over to the underpass road is about 10 metres, maybe 12 metres, so
At least
35 to 40 foot, probably more.
I'd say minimum of about 50.
Yeah,
50,
could well
60
be.
feet, yeah.
Yeah, could well be.
Wow, so substantially.
Substantial.
Wow. So, okay, so we've gone through this park and you've been
Grabbed.
kidnapped. Right.
Yeah. And I remember, and I don't remember actually being shot, but I remember the noise of a bullet.
Welcome to the third episode of True Podcast with me, Paul Candlin. Now, before we get into our podcast today, we have a very special guest, which I'll bring into shortly. But before we do that, I'd like to give thanks to Jesus, my one and only saviour, for allowing this career to happen. And also Michael at Cypher Films, because without him building the studio, again, True Podcasts would not be a reality. So our guest today on True Podcast is a guy called John Cheetham. Now, his name wouldn't necessarily be on the tips of your tongue, but once you've read the book and seen the podcast, I can guarantee that his story will not be far away from your minds. This guy has survived the unthinkable. He's faced the depths of depravity that humans can do to one another, but most of all, is here today to tell his story. So let me welcome John and Ray. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for seeing us.
Well, I've got to be honest, John, this is a podcast that I've been waiting to do since I've met you in, when was it? January?
Yeah.
I briefly met John in a radio station randomly in Blackpool. And it was a weekend. I couldn't remember for the life of me why I was there until John actually jogged my memory. I was there to look at a couple of places I was looking to film at, but we won't get into that. It's not part of the podcast. But that's how I met John, and I met him for about an hour. And just briefly on the book that he's released on Amazon and the story that's in this book, it totally blew me away, I've got to be honest. And it's stuck with me ever since.
Yeah.
Because you approached me to do a film and to make this book into a film. And I've got to be honest, at that particular time, although it was a privilege to be asked to make that movie, I wasn't comfortable in doing it because I couldn't do it justice to its full justice for what you've gone through. And I was in the process of launching True Podcast, which is why we're here today. And so I think better than a film at the moment is to get your story out there.
Yeah.
Let the viewers hear exactly what you've been through.
Okay.
Let them read your book.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if it's not me that makes your movie, hopefully someone will see this podcast and pick your story up and hopefully give you back everything good that life has taken away from you.
Yeah.
So let me start like I do with all our guests. Let's take you right back to the start of your childhood and where it all began for you.
So I was born in Bradbury, Stockport. My father was just a painter and decorator. My mother always had secretarial roles. My mother was, I found out since, born in Brazil, and I was treated I'm guess with racism when I was young.
In what way?
I was forced to go to 4 different primary schools.
4.
4.
And what age bracket did you start? Did this happen?
Between 5 years old and 10, I went to 4 different primary schools.
Because I can remember when I had to make the jump between like junior school to high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, going to go all the big kids now. So to move 4 places before you even get to high school, that must have been a bit daunting.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I was talking to Ray this morning on the way down. My parents sold number 12 of Doric Avenue in Bredbury, and we moved to number 10. So literally attached to where we lived. But my sister had been born, and it had a extra room. So it made sense, kind of made sense. So we moved next door. Literally, me and my dad carried the furniture over the fence. So, very odd. But I was forced to move schools.
Even though you was
Next
literally...
door.
Oh, wow.
And I think, thinking back, it was my mother. She was distinctively Brazilian. And I think in the early 70s, there was quite a race thing going on, certainly in Manchester. I mean, the Manchester one's quite famous. The race wars went on into the 80s.
I think that started at Moss Side, I think it did, if I
Moss
remember
Side.
right. Because you had the similar thing up in Toxteth.
Yeah, same thing.
In Liverpool.
Yeah, so that went on to the 80s. But yeah, we literally...
Because you had a similar thing down in Brixton as well.
Yes,
in London.
So I literally moved next door, but I had to change schools.
Wow. So that in itself, I mean, setting you up at such a young age with different schools, different people, having to make friends all over again.
Yeah.
That daunting aspect of doing that is, for any kid, is hard.
Yeah,
So
very,
did you
hard.
find that difficult as a kid?
Very hard as a kid, but I think it set me up for being tougher in a later life.
Which we'll get into.
I'm not physically tough. I couldn't go and beat someone up, but if you done something to me, then the devil's coming with me. I'm coming back at you.
Do you know what I love about you though, John, is as we'll find out further into the podcast, you've always got this sense of humour that I envy, because when I have a bad day, I need that sense of humour.
Yeah.
Not necessarily at the forefront of my mind all the time, but with you, with what you've gone through and what you've faced and the adversity that you've overcome, I think we can all take something from you from this podcast, even just at this first point, is your sense of humour.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's the primary school. So how was high school? Was that any different?
High school, again, 2 high schools, and then college in Salford. When the riots were on in Manchester, I was in college at Salford.
So did you witness
all of it?
Yeah, wow.
All of it. I had to go on a twist and go moped from Salford to Stockport every night.
Wow.
Through Longside or Levenshulme, where all the petrol bombs and the riots were going on in 81, 82.
That's when I was born, 81.
Yeah, I saw all that.
Wow. So after high school, what was you doing to earn £1 a night? What was you doing for
I moved back to Blackpool, which had been for a period of time in my childhood. And
What was Blackpool like growing up? Because I can imagine it being like quite kicking, a lot to do.
It was very, very busy growing up. I mean, there was, in the old days when nightclubs opened from 10 p.m. till 2, Blackpool had 64 of them.
Well, I remember going to the Palace.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
that was my go-to under the tower, I think it
Yeah,
was.
under the bridge there.
And it was a huge club. I
Yeah.
remember like going in there and just being like, "Wow, this is."
Yeah.
And there's quite a few of them.
Hitman and her at the Palace.
Yes.
And
I remember seeing remember Blockster? There was it was a dance artist that was, I think it got to be in the late 90s, and I remember seeing him there on stage. And yeah, it was just a great place to go over a weekend, get hammered, have a great time, and then come back and start work on Monday thinking,
they were 64, so as growing up as a teenager, it was
so you always had
incredible.
A lot to do. Yeah, you could. You had fun.
Yeah.
And what was you doing for a
I
living?
was a chef.
You was a chef.
So I'd qualified in Salford as a chef, and I was working at the Castle Casino in Blackpool.
Oh wow!
So quite strange. I'd been working till my shift was 9 p.m. till 4 a.m., the standard casino shift, and I'd left there at 4, gone home, and next door neighbour said to me, You're going to be up for a couple of hours, John. Would you mind bringing me some milk? Lady next door was in her 80s, so yeah, I'll have a brew, I'll go and get you some milk. Don't worry, I'll pop it round. When I went to get her milk, I saw a job advertised in an insurance broker's window. Weird, I know, but I was in my whites still from working in the kitchen, and I waited till 9 a.m. till the insurance brokers opened, and I walked in my whites and said, you've got a job advertised in the window, I'd like to apply. And the guy was sort of...
You're a chef.
Yeah, this is strange, but he got chatting to me. He was a Manchester guy, even though this was Blackpool.
And what date are we talking at the moment? What date is this?
1982.
Okay.
And he gave me the job. So suddenly I went from my whites to a suit.
Wow.
So...
And so this was about 1982?
Yeah. Early 80s.
And how long was you in the insurance business?
A good few years. A few years.
And was that in Blackpool?
In Blackpool.
Yeah. Okay. So you've gone through a number of schools. You qualified as a chef.
Yeah.
And what age did you qualify as a chef?
18.
18. And now you're working in insurance. So in the book, at what age and what year did you start as an estate agent?
Estate agents in 1992.
So from 82 to 92 years.
I was kind of in insurance brokers, that type of work.
And then obviously the start of the book is where we get into the estate agent. So how do we go from working in insurance to then going into an estate agent?
Working in estate agents and insurance brokers was quite similar.
Okay.
Quite the same, other than with an estate agent, everyone thinks it's complicated. All you do is turn up and open the door.
I love how simple you put it. It's that easy, just walk in the door and show people around.
Pop a key in the door, open the door, and go and have a look.
So so your first, so you say your first day as a estate agent.
Yeah.
So you're wearing a suit, you've been in the insurance business 10 years.
Yeah.
And then this woman on this fateful Sunday afternoon walks in.
Yeah.
Just before we get to that, explain to the viewers that the build up to this fateful Sunday.
The estate agents was a brand new estate agents when I was working there. We didn't have anything for sale, anything to rent.
Oh, wow.
But I was kind of proactive. The big companies in the area of the estate agents were kind of aeronautical, insurance company, nuclear fuel company, which becomes quite relevant later in there. And I went round to all the companies and said, look, we're a new estate agent in the area. Here's my card. If you need anything to rent or anything, give me a ring. So we might not have had anything to rent or for sale, but we suddenly got quite a lot.
And that was thanks to your legwork?
Yeah.
That was the reason for my question. I'd just like to, especially for the viewers at home, just to get an essence of the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
The way you go about doing things, and basically how you can have a sense of humour the way you've got and be the person you are. It's because you do the legwork, you go the extra mile. I don't care what you're doing, whether you're doing the chef work,
always.
The insurance work. And so that was the reason behind my question, was just so the viewers can get a sense of really how humble you are.
I always went the extra mile. So I heard the aeronautical company was British Aerospace, of course, at Wharton, near Preston. Huge company, employ about 6,000 people at that branch. I heard that they were shutting an aerospace branch down south and all the staff had to be moved to Wharton. So I went to the gate at Wharton, gave them a load of cards, bought the gate staff a couple of bottles of whiskey, give them a brown envelope, and said, anyone wants to rent anything, give me a ring. And they were sending everybody my way. So the people were bypassing all the other estate agents. Oh, give John a call. John will sort it out. And that's the way I went round business, and that's where I am still now. I kind of won't let anything stop me doing something. If I want to do it, I'll do it. You know, people say, oh, you can't do that. Why? And there's always a why.
If you can just echo.
Absolutely. you read me totally right. You summed up John brilliantly a moment ago, but another aspect of John is his generous nature. And what I mean by that is his desire to share, his desire to be positive. That unfolds in things that happen, but
that's a great quality to have.
Oh,
incredible. You know what I mean? It's a quality that not a lot of people possess.
Incredible.
I do apologise, I'm sweating at the moment, and it's wearing this suit.
So that's all right, you're good.
Thanks, man.
So generous. And I think when you say generosity, you could misunderstand that, you know, John's good with buying a drink, or it's not that. It's just the spirit of John is so wanting people to feel good and so positive.
Yeah, and that's the vibe that I got when I first met John in Blackpool, because even though it was only briefly, the humbleness, and even he was laughing and joking then. And I thought, when I walked away from there and I went home and I said to my father, you don't believe the guy I've just met today, what's happened to him. And yet he was still cracking jokes, you know. To have that quality of that in the personality of a better person, doesn't matter how strong you are physically, you know, as long as you've got it strengthfully, you know, in your mental capacity, you can be whoever you want to be. It's not all about how strong you are. It's about how strong you are mentally, and you've got it in abundance. And we'll get to that further in your story. So, I rang John up yesterday just to see if he was still coming in this morning. And I was pleased to hear that you were with him, because I didn't want him to be on his own, especially coming into London and doing this podcast. So it was amazing to know.
Well, we're kind of joined at the hip now.
Yeah, I've noticed
in a creative way, which is what I meant with John's nature, because he gives his experience. My experience, I don't necessarily need to go into detail, was to, in some ways, bury and hide and avoid certain things at a time. And I think that's a common experience for many people, which isn't a criticism. It's just you have bad experiences in life, you kind of keep them down. John's so open, you know, and appropriately open about what he went through, and that's the value of the generosity of what he gives.
Hopefully, I can do John justice in this podcast and
No doubt.
and get your story over in a way that only you can tell it. So, let's go back to that Sunday.
Yeah.
And if you can tell the viewers
Okay,
exactly
so
how
it
started.
was January, February. It was blowing a gale. It was pouring down.
So let me just try and set the scene as I can see it in my head. And in my head, it's sort of like probably a late to mid-afternoon.
Yes.
Everything's quiet.
Yeah.
You probably get the odd car going past and the sound of a wet road with the car going on.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I hear a ding at the bell. That's so someone comes through the door.
Yeah.
And then this like completely elegant woman that you wouldn't expect to step out of a rain, especially in Blackpool.
Yeah.
On a random Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so a random lady comes in, absolutely dripping wet through. Looked like she'd just been drowned and dragged out. But she came through the door, and I noticed kind of an American accent there, although very mild, kind of American accent. And it was 3:30 on a Sunday. It was wet. We closed at 4. I was just thinking, I'm going to lock up and go home here. You know, it's not...
But you wish you had.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a busy day. Anyway, she was dripping all over my floor, so threw her a couple of towels and said, "Oh, sit down. Do you want a cup of tea?" "Oh, that'd be fantastic." She said, "I've been in a couple of the other estate agents and they won't even talk to me." "Oh, you're always welcome here. Come in, sit down. I'll make you a brew." And we got chatting. She said, "I need somewhere to rent in the area for quite a while." I said, "Okay." She said, "Yeah, I'm going to be working at the factory in Solwick in Preston." I went, "Oh, okay." My brain starts ticking away there. "Oh, I know where you're working, don't worry. Have a chat as you brew."
And what dates are we talking roughly here?
2003 or 4. Late
Recent.
3.
So, okay.
Yeah, so chatting away. I did notice on my way in your door that you've got a house to rent in St Anne's. I said, yeah, we have. But you've told me it's just you and your husband. She said, "Oh, no, I need a 4-bed. I've got a huge container coming from America." "Oh, okay. I'll arrange for you to have a look. When do you want to go? On Monday? I'd like to go at 5 a.m.
Oh, whoa. 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Who'd want to view a house at 5 a.m.?
Exactly what I said to her. I said, "Well, 5 a.m. is
Okay, so there's the first fucking red flag.
Yeah, bit unusual for me, but I will do it. But can you tell me why you want 5 a.m? I'm in between flights. I've got a view somewhere before I fly back to America." I said, "Great, I'll be there at 5 a.m. And me being me, going the extra mile, I was there at 5 a.m.
Again, that's why I wanted to try and touch on that base earlier on. It doesn't seem, no matter what you're doing, you always seem to go that extra mile.
Yeah.
And that's obviously just gratitude to who you are.
Yeah. So I was there at 5 a.m, showed her around a 4-bed, modern, detached, on a fairly new...
Sounds beautiful. You sold it to me already.
Fabulous.
I've done his job.
Fabulous house.
Have you got another house?
Yeah, it was lovely house. Absolutely perfect for me. I want to move in February, March, whatever it is. The date I come back from America is whatever it was. Can you make sure I get that house? I said, "Yeah, here's the bank details. I need a month's rent, deposit. I need your details, blah, blah, blah." She said, "There's my secretary's phone number. Give her a ring on Monday, send her an invoice. It'll get taken care of." So I dealt with like aerospace and garden roll exchange insurance companies. So I was quite used to kind of dealing with secretaries and PAs and blah, blah, blah. So sent the invoice over, money came through. I got ready to move in. So everything good. She arrived back from America to move in the house. I said, I'll come with you, just show you around, because I know in America you have heating systems that are different to ours, and I'll show you
That's a fair point, yeah.
Where the stopcock is
I lived
for
in
the
New
water.
York for a bit, so yeah, I get all that.
It's kind of all different, isn't it? So I showed around. The bailiffs were there.
What do you mean?
They were going to repossess the house when we turned up.
Oh, wow.
The owner had not paid the mortgage. So,
wow.
so
that's not the best impression to start with.
Great start for me, was it? But me being me, I said, well, look, don't worry about it. How many weeks is it before your container arrives? Oh, it's about 4 weeks. Fine.
So what happened with the bailiffs?
The house got repossessed, but we'd still got the money. But me being me, I just carried on as if nothing happened. It's just a minor, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
I've been running around in circles.
Yeah,
Shit, what am I going to do?
She's got no house. She said, the company will put me up in a hotel until you find me another house. I said, right, you stay here in the hotel, I'll find you another house. So that day, I went round all the houses that I knew in the area that had been for sale for quite a while, with other agents for sale boards in the window or in the garden. And I went banging on doors.
Doing legwork.
Me being me again. I've noticed your house has been for sale for a while. Have you ever thought about renting the property out? I've got a really high executive from a company in Kirkham that would like your property. I'd been through about half a dozen houses, and the last one said, we've been thinking about it. Do you want to come in? So, yeah, please. Great. Do you want to show me around? Yeah. This is perfect for them. So it's a husband and wife. Lady works down the road at Kirkham. Exec. Company paying the rent. Perfect for us. We'll move out in a couple of weeks' time. They can have it for 3-4 years, whatever they want. I'm like, wow. I've saved the day again.
Yeah, well done.
So back to the estate agents, called her. I found your house. This is the address. I can't show you around because the people are still there. But here's the address. Go and have a look at the outside. Have a walk round it. It's yours. She did that. She rang me and said, John, you've been great, fantastic. Thank you so much for saving the day for us.
So far, I think it's going tickety-boo. You know, after the first
Kind
hurdle, you've sorted it.
Yeah.
You've thought on your toes.
Yeah.
You've solved the problem.
Yeah.
You've found a new house.
Yeah.
The occupiers have moved out.
Yeah.
She's moved in.
Yeah. All good.
All good.
One day in the estate agents, an American guy walks in.
Are these connected?
Yeah, it's her husband. I
Right,
didn't know.
you didn't know at the time.
I didn't know he was coming. He just kind of marched in. Hey, John.
As the Americans, hey man,
Yeah.
you all right?
Yeah. Hey, John.
Morning, John.
Yeah.
Sorry if that were very good.
Yeah. Hey, John.
Probably sounded a lot more Welsh than
sounded good to
American.
me.
I've popped in just to say how thankful I am, how you dealt with the wife situation with the house, and how you went round at 5 a.m. and you found her a house.
Wow,
and,
that would have been.
and then you found her another house, and I just want to thank you for that. I said, just day's work. Do you want a brew?
But what is to say, the British Empire was built on cups of tea, as well as poles of shit, but we won't get into that one at the moment. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I made him a brew, had a chat. I said, Ab, your wife's a high flyer down at Kirk, and what do you do? Me being me, like that. I sell racehorses.
Oh, whoa. So this larger-than-life American's walked in. Hey, man, you all right? So you've made him a coffee, you've sat down, and he's just told you that he sells racehorses.
Yeah.
So what's he doing in Blackpool?
He was here because his wife was here.
Okay, there's my second. Woo!
Yeah.
Carry on.
But I said, where's your business? He said, Kentucky.
Okay, which
fine.
Okay, makes sense.
The horses,
Yep.
Kentucky,
Yep.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
No problem. I said,
Kentucky, for the Kentucky Derby, isn't
Derby.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Which plays a role in there
A massive
in a minute.
role. Yeah.
And I said, are you from Bluegrass Country? Yeah, how do you know? I said, I've been to the Kentucky Derby. Really? I said, yeah.
And had you been there?
I had.
Oh, okay.
I had been there.
It's a big, because I've never seen.
Oh,
I suppose it's like
huge.
NASCAR. Once you've seen it, you've seen it.
Incredible.
But I can imagine it being like.
150,000 people there.
I thought you were going to say horses, and I'm like, wow, that's a big race.
No, 150,000 people there. The city closes down. Well, America closes down for it, like the Melbourne Cup in Melbourne. Kind of.
That's tennis.
That's it.
Okay.
Really, you've been there? I said, yeah, I went there in a year or two ago. Churchill Downs. He said, oh, do you like the racing? I said, yeah, we usually go to a little racetrack in the lakes called Cartmel. And he was Cartmel and Cartmel. I've not heard of Cartmel. I said, well, it's over the jumps. You don't have many jump races in America. Generally, you're on the flat. He said, yeah, I've sold a couple of jump horses, but usually to England. I said, hey, who do you sell racehorses to? He said, I'm not bragging, but Americans do brag. It's their kind of nature. But, yeah, Putin, the Sheikhs.
And this is who he sold racehorses to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he was world leader in selling racehorses. Top of the tree.
Okay.
Literally right up there.
Well, if you're selling to world leaders,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can only be on that sort of level.
Yeah, exactly. So I know from my travels that in that world he was very, very connected. I was, a few months after our meeting, going on holiday to New York. I'd got 4 or 5 days booked in New York. And I'd said to him, I'm going to New York next week. Okay. Kind of blasé to it, but he'd heard everything.
Okay.
He'd heard it all. I turned up at the hotel in New York. I'd been there a night or 2 nights, and reception rang my room and said, there's a stretch limousine here for you. And I'm thinking, not for me.
Oh, wow. That's a nice little taxi.
Yeah, not for me. Said, no, it's for John Cheetham. Okay. I'll go out and talk to the driver, but I've definitely not booked anything. So I went out, talked to the chauffeur driver. I said, I'm John Cheetham. You're here to pick me up? He said, yeah, American guy has arranged with George Steinbrenner for him to pick you up and take you to the race course at Aqueduct in New York. Oh, and I'm thinking, it must be the American guy from The Office. Gotta be.
Gotta be.
Yeah, can't be anyone else that I know. George Steinbrenner was the owner of New York Yankees.
No. Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm thinking, he has got connections there somewhere.
So you're thinking that this American guy that sells a racehorses is connected to the guy that owns
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's the one that sent the,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes it
He
plausible.
probably saw them resources
plausible.
in the past.
Yeah.
In the past, so I just
So
went
at the
with
moment, there's no woo.
No,
no
me
red flags or
being
nothing.
me, I just went with the flow. Oh, great!
I'd be like Home Alone. I'd be like having a big pizza. I'd be loving New York, man. I'd be saying, right, New York, you're ready because I'm coming.
I just went with the flow. I said, "Oh yeah, I'll just get my key out. I'll be down in a minute." So we went to Aqueduct races. We got there. I'd never been to Aqueduct races. I've been to Cartmel and
Was that
Haydock.
horse racing?
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
horse
I
racing.
just thought there was one that was just in Kentucky, and that was it.
No, it's a big course just north of Manhattan.
No, wow. Because I lived in Montclair, which
Okay.
was New Jersey,
Yeah.
and didn't have a clue.
Okay, so very, very upmarket when we got there. In fact, I was not wearing a tie.
Couldn't go in.
So the concierge on the door, whoever, said, I'm sorry, sir. I understand you're a guest of George Steinbrenner's, but you've not got a tie on. So I'm going to send your driver for a tie. He literally give the driver some money to go and buy me a tie so I could go in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
You just thought because you was a guest, you would just let you in anyway.
Yeah, I just thought,
Surely someone's got a tie knocking about.
yeah, so they got me a tie and I went in. When I was in there, I was in the elevated private restaurant, and at my table was two of the Disney boys,
Who's that?
Disney sons.
Oh, wow. Okay. What?
So, yeah,
Oh, wow.
and they were racehorse owners.
So you actually sat and
I was
and
sat at
dined
their
with-
table.
Wow.
So I just went with the flow. Hi, I'm John from England. And
I would have dropped my name in there as well.
Yeah, you come all the way from England for the races? I said, yeah. Some guys just picked me up at the hotel and brought me here. I'm here for the day, so nice to meet you.
So who had sent this limo? Who had sent the car?
George Steinbrenner, who's the owner of New York Yankees.
And he had sent the limo.
Yeah, he'd sent the limo. It was his limo.
Oh, it's his personal.
His
wow.
personal limo.
And why did he send it? Because it was us.
Because the American guy that had rented a house to had arranged it.
Right, okay, all
Because
makes
they were
sense.
all connected. So, again, I'm kind of blasé to it. I just went with the flow. I'm not,
Enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. I was
Billy
just enjoying the day. So, day went on. I saw the races, got well fed.
Did you win?
I don't think so on that
You
day.
should have
But
kept that
hey,
winning streak going.
Yeah, no, I don't think so on that day. I'm not a big gambler anyway. And
I've
the,
never
the
understood.
American
I've never understood
Me
racing,
neither.
No.
the American racing, I'll explain a little bit later, but the big races like the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont, the Preakness, the Breeders' Cup in America, they kind of not fixed, but I'll explain a little bit.
Aren't most sporting events fixed nowadays?
No. But they are kind of in the favour of certain people. But I will explain how that works shortly.
Okay.
That's all to do with the horse's birthday. They're fixed.
Okay.
You have to explain it to me.
Yeah,
before
I've
you
kind
go.
of
Don't be new one on me. Okay, I'll look
Yeah,
forward to that.
so we came away
Every
from
day's a school day.
we came away from the races in the limo, back to Manhattan, back to my hotel. The limo stayed outside the hotel, but I went in. I went up to my room. I walked in the room. The phone rang again, and it was reception again. I thought, what's going on there? Hiya. If you want to pop down, sir, we've upgraded your room. Oh, thank you. I'll pop down, slip the keys out. Don't worry about anything of your belongings. We'll move everything over for you.
What was the reason for No idea.
So I'm guessing it's George
Just trying to
Steinbrenner again.
butter you up. Yeah.
I think it all that again. So,
It seems to be like really piling it on. The car.
yeah.
I find at this moment, because obviously I've been spending a lot of time with John, is it is easy to think, which is not me justifying John, when you hear it, when you look at life played backwards, it makes sense. When you're in it,
What do you mean?
when you're in it, you're not really seeing it because you're in it. When John has shared this with me when I've read the book, I'm thinking, hold on a minute, that's a bit of an alarm bell. But when you're in it, it's not that way because you're dealing with people.
Well, you just think they're just being nice, don't
Absolutely.
you? Or
Absolutely.
they just treated you with kid gloves to try and get you on board, which is fine. Yeah.
They've got money, they're good
I'm enjoying
people,
this.
And that's what I did. I just went with the flow. I thought, well, I'm in this situation. It must be the American guy back in England that's done this. It might be a thank you for taking care of his wife's house situation. It might be whatever it is.
All plausible.
Yeah.
Very plausible.
Yeah, so I just kind of went with the flow. So went into the hotel, came downstairs, saw the receptionist, went back out the hotel, and the driver's still there. And the driver shouts to me.
So how long had he been outside? Got to have been a couple
probably
of hours.
an hour at this point. He's still there. He shouts over, "Oh yeah, George has give you the stretch limo for the evening." Oh, okay. Again, I went with the flow. I thought, why not? Mm-hmm. Got in the limo. There's a young lady in there, in the back.
Oh, okay. Plot thickens.
Yeah, but plot does thicken. In a minute, what I'll say, because again, it's all in the book. It's all 100% true. 'Cause this is this is why it took me so long to write the book, because I'd diaried everything.
A lot happened.
And the viewers will see
Yeah,
just how much.
I literally diaried everything, and I'm pleased that I did. Because of what happened afterwards. So the driver then proceeded to take me and passenger to a restaurant.
Did you know this woman?
No idea.
Not from Adam.
Attractive, great.
Ticks all the boxes.
It works.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Go with it.
It fits.
I've been given an upgrade. Now I've got a girl to go with it. Thanks, America. American dream, huh?
It fits spec. I'll just go with the flow. And we pulled up at a certain restaurant in New York that is well known. I didn't know at the time. It's well known for being a venue of a certain mobster murder. So we'd been given a table at Sparks restaurant in Manhattan. Again, Google the search or check up on Sparks. You'll see it's quite famous for a mobster murder. We've been given a table at Sparks, me and passenger. We went in there, had a great dinner, steaks, champagne, food, all the business. Came out, driver's still there. Driver said, "Oh, you've got the limo for the evening, sir. Don't worry." I didn't quite click with passenger, so I said to the driver, "Do we have to have passenger?" And he said, "No, I'll drop her off. Don't worry, sir. You've got me as the driver for the evening."
Oh, wow. It says it was part of the Gambino family. Wow. So I watch a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
And it's a real fascinating time to be alive at the moment, because I was watching a full mob argument going on between Michael Francis
Oh, yeah.
and Sammy the Bull.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going out. I was like,
oh,
you
yeah.
can understand that people get whacked very, very
Yeah.
easily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is, you do realise that you're on camera. But it
Yeah.
was such a fascinating thing to watch. So, okay, that's
So,
quite high profile.
A famous mobster was gunned down outside Sparks. So it's quite famous for that.
How ironic for you to end up
Yeah,
with this.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And the plot thickens from
Plot
that.
thickens.
From that, yeah, it does. So passenger gets dropped off. Me and driver. He said, "Say you've got the limo for the evening. Where do
What
you?"
time are we at now?
We're getting 7,
Late
8, 9
evening.
o'clock,
Okay.
getting late. So I said, "Oh, take me down Lower East Side. I'll go to all the bars. I'll have a drink while I'm in town. Are you okay with that?" "Certainly." He said, "I'll tell you what, a friend of mine's got a bar down there. I'll take you there. I'll park up. You go and do what you're doing. And I'm here to take you back when you're finished." So I went, all the Idlewild bar, quite famous for being having a bar from JFK Airport. So it's a cockpit inside the bar, and it's all passenger planes.
That'd be weird.
Inside Idlewild. So fantastic. Went in all the bars. Of course, an English guy with a stretched limo outside.
Not really going to go
Single.
unnoticed.
I didn't kind of have a struggle with the ladies that evening. It kind of.
Do you know, when I went to America, that's the thing that hit me the most. I could just talk about the weather. And it was
Quite,
I was like, I'm quite enjoying this. So yeah, I noticed that straight away.
So I got treated with kid gloves, so everywhere, taken care of everywhere.
I can relate.
Yeah, jumped back in the limo, went back to the hotel. As we were pulling up at the hotel, he said, my boss, Mr. Steinbrenner, has got a gift for you. Can you collect it tomorrow from the New York Yankees shop?" At this stage, I didn't know that George Steinbrenner owned the New York Yankees.
Right, I did not know.
At that stage, I had not a clue. So alarm bells are kind of, why am I going to the New York Yankees shop to pick up a gift? Who knows? So I kind of made some inquiries and found out he's the owner. So again, I went with the flow. Walked in the shop, and an assistant said, "My driver picked up on something you said, that you've got a nephew that would love to come to America and is a big football fan in America and blah, blah, blah. So we've got a gift for your nephew."
Wow.
And they
So
gave
you're
me...
being treated more or less like a star.
Yeah,
really.
they gave me like $500 worth of gifts for my nephew. Shirts and this and that. And they just gave me bags and bags of things. And the limo driver said, "Do you want me to take you back to the hotel?" I said, "I've been riding around in your limo for days now, man. I just
I was going to say, how long are we, what's the time duration there? Because
it's
you've
kind of
been shopping,
midday the
you've
next
been,
day.
you've been to restaurants, you've been to
kind
New
of
York,
midday the next day.
So there's a couple of days that have passed and you've been given this limo.
Yeah.
And you've been to New York Stadium, so you've been given all these gifts. So you're a bit confused of why I've missed a beat, I've become famous overnight.
Yeah.
I've not realised and no one told me about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone's been following me somewhere. Whatever. Back to the hotel, checked out. I'd had like mini bar built and it's been taken care of, sir. I said, "Well, I owe somebody for Sparks or for this, or taken care of, sir." Fine. Great. I'm checking out today, reception. "We know, sir, we've got you the stretch limo again to take you back to the airport."
Wow. I normally have to go to a bus. So we're back at the airport.
Get the subway or whatever, don't you? Normally. So limo driver takes me to the airport. I fly back to England as normal.
So we're now back in Blackpool.
Back in the estate agents.
Back in the estate agents, and just trying to contemplate on the holiday that you've just had.
Yeah.
Thinking, what the fuck was that all about?
Yeah, exactly. What's been happening there? In the office on Monday, American guy comes in. He did that every day. He kind of rustled in every day. Small American wide guy that kind of bounced when he walked. Hey, Jan, how was New York? I said, oh, great, thank you. I said, I kind of got picked up and dropped off and thing. He said, oh, yeah, my friend took care of it for you. That was that.
Wow, okay, so we're back in Blackpool and the American guys come. What leads you to, obviously, Bulgaria and exactly what happened to you?
So the Bulgarian experience came about firstly with Latvia. Latvia were just about to join the EU.
And what year are we talking?
2004.
So we're still in 4 or 5 round?
Yeah, we were in 4 at this point. Okay. I'd not even heard of Latvia, but he came in one day and said, I've got a friend that I sold a racehorse to. He used to work for a company in England. I believe her husband's a rock star. And I go, oh, what was the company? He said, I can't remember, John, but they sold vegan food. So you know where it is by now. Yeah. And when his wife died, he sold the company and fired off my friend. But my friend took him to court and got some money and met a Latvian girl, and he's moved to Riga in Latvia. I said, oh, okay, great. He said, well, Latvia are joining the EU. And he said, I've done some work with the Latvian people have bought racehorses off me, and the chap that I know out there has. And he wants to buy some property out there. And I wondered if you'd help him. I said, oh, I don't know if I've got any more holidays or whatever. When do you want me to go? He said, well, is the estate agent closed round about New Year? I said, yeah. He said, well, why don't you go over New Year? Make it New Year's Eve in Latvia. Yeah, all right. Okay. Different.
Why not?
Why not? Again, go with the flow. I said to him over the next couple of days, I'm thinking of going to Latvia with a couple of friends. He said, oh, yeah, just they can go and party. You meet up with my friend for me and he'll show you around the property and blah, blah. Are you okay with that? I said, yeah. But I'm partying with my friends. It's not going to take long. Oh, no, see him for half an hour. Just do that for me. Great. Then he knows I've sent you. So I hook up with a couple of friends. Hey, how do you fancy New Year in Latvia? Yeah.
So you've took them with you?
Yeah, I've took them with me.
Okay.
So the 3 of us have gone there. Hotel, we get to the hotel. They go off and do their thing. I ring his friend and say, I'm John, I'm in town, a couple of days. I believe there's some property you want me to have a look at. Yeah, great. He kind of already bought the property, but just wanted a bit of advice from me. So me being there was kind of irrelevant, kind of.
Okay. But
this had all been arranged, again, by the American guy. So I met him. we walked round the property. He said, I'm trying to find a tenant for the property now. I said, oh, if I can help in any way, I'll help. Met up with my friends back at the hotel, out for a night out in Latvia. I'd met someone in the bar at the hotel who was from a major American company, and they were trying to find somewhere to rent in Latvia.
How ironic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought this is kind of going too well, this. And it was
What's
from...
the famous saying, if it's too good to be true?
Yeah,
It is.
it kind of, but it wasn't. They were from Microsoft,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and they wanted a call centre in Latvia, which they still have now, I believe.
Was that down to you?
Yeah, it's still down to me.
Okay.
So
It's nice little
I
legacy to leave.
introduced them to the property through his friend. They took the property. So me and the two friends were back at the hotel. The invites started coming in then.
Invites to...
We got invited to a New Year's Eve party
By who?
by whoever.
Okay.
Again, I'm guessing it's American connection to an old theatre in Riga. We'd been past this theatre just by accident in the day because Riga's not big. So I'd been past it, I'd recognised this place. When we went to the party for the evening, they'd put on a major show, whoever had done that. So they'd opened the theatre up, and it was a real big New Year's Eve party at this theatre. But when we went in, it was obvious that it was arranged by Latvian Mafia or someone of that connection.
Okay, so we're in Latvia.
Yeah,
You've got all your friends with you.
yeah,
It's New Year's Eve of 2004.
yeah.
You've been given invites to go to this party. So
Yeah.
you've gone to this party with your mates.
Yeah.
What makes you think that it's mafia? Well, mafioso.
There was older guys, very portly looking, with 20-year-old girlfriends, with chains around their neck, looking like exactly that.
So you don't need a weatherman to tell you when it's
No.
raining, really, do you?
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
you can just tell.
So
the
you
signs of
knew
it.
what was happening there, and we were being fed that evening, and we were on the head table.
Okay.
Again, there were 3 seats for us.
And
I
did any of these mafia bosses talk to you? Or?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
talking to them all night because me being me. Oh, hi, I'm John.
And what sort of questions were they asking you? What were they quite inquisitive to
Well,
you?
yeah, well, why are you in Riga? I said I've just been helping my friend with a property.
So looking back now, do you think they were fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Have you met my girlfriend? And champagne over here for my friend from England. And yeah, it just went crazy the evening. Just absolutely. There was a troupe of dancers on, and they were all coming round and introducing themselves, and champagne flowing and caviar flowing.
All good.
And it was it was a great New Year's Eve party. It's in the book, and
So we've New Year's party has been and gone.
yeah,
So we're now into 2005.
yeah.
Are we still in Latvia?
No, we're back in the estate agents.
So we're back in Blackpool.
Yeah.
So we've left
Yeah.
Latvia, had a wicked time.
Yeah.
A great New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
Loads of drinks.
flown back.
Flow was good.
Yeah,
You've thought you've made
yeah.
a great impression.
I've done my deal.
Dotted all the
Americans
I's
happy.
and crossed all the T's.
Yeah.
Jobs are good. And so we're
Yeah,
back in
so-
Blackpool, back
so
in estate agent.
The estate agent got wired some money from Latvia as a thank you for me finding a tenant for them, even though it was completely accidental for us. So he was happy that we'd got paid for me being there. So he was kind of, oh, you can go and do this again,
It's always
John.
good when you get paid.
Yeah, go and do this again, John. This is great. We got well paid for that. I don't know what you did in Latvia, but do it again. So January, February, American guys in the office. Hey, Jan, Bulgaria are joining the EU soon. And you know I sell racehorses, yeah? He said, I'm thinking of setting up a breeding operation in Bulgaria. I've been offered an old race course in Bulgaria. Can me and you fly out and have a look and give me your thoughts on it?
I bet you thought, here we go again. Have we done
Yeah, exactly what I thought. And the estate agent was happy for me to go.
Well, when you've been to New York and been
Yeah.
given a limo and a jolly up, you've gone to Latvia, you had an awesome party life there. So I bet you're thinking,
Becoming a lifestyle.
Yeah, I'll
It's
get used to
becoming a
this.
lifestyle. This is
Don't
lovely.
time knocking all that.
Yeah.
And the estate agent's getting paid, so he's happy.
So everyone at the moment, everyone's onto a winner.
Everything's looking good. So me and American guy fly out there. We flew into Sofia first and got met by the Minister of Agriculture. He plays an important role later in my book. We met him, had a beer in Sofia. He joined us on the flight from Sofia to Varna, where the racecourse was. When we got to Varna airport, there was a driver to pick us up, kind of well-built, bodybuilding type driver, E-class Merc, in kind of poor communist Bulgaria. Wow. That should have been alarm bells, but it wasn't, because I was just going with the flow, as you can see, has happened in the past. We got taken in the car through various towns and cities. We got to the race course, we had a look round. Driver said to us...
And this race course, was it an actual working race course?
It was an old, abandoned, actual race course, 3,000 acres, but actually fronted the coast, the Black Sea coast.
Okay.
And that, again, is important in the story, the fact that it had coastline. That is important for what they had in mind that I didn't know they had in mind.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Later
so
in the interview.
in the Merc, dark, we'd had a couple of drinks, we'd been tanking for food. We had nowhere to stay. So me and the American guy going, he said, oh, I've taken care of where we're staying, John, don't worry. We pull into what I would describe as like a 10-bedroom, 12-bedroom private house. It looked like a private house in its own grounds. So kind of, in England, we'd call it like a country manor
country
house.
Estate,
Yeah, like that kind of thing. And we pulled in, and as we pulled in, all the lights came on into this building. I remember like, whew, thinking, and staff started running out of the house. Oh, hi, hello, can we help? Yeah, we're, and the American guy said, oh, we're staying here, we're guests of such and such. Oh, yeah, please come in, blah, blah, blah. We got taken into a dining room, not unsimilar to where we are now, kind of similar.
Okay.
A kind of mafia type boss at the head of the table, again, chains and gold and, hey John, do you want some caviar? Do you want a cigar? And champagne and
Yes, you do.
You don't hear that every day, do you?
Cigar, caviar.
Do you want some caviar?
this is communist Bulgaria, and I'm thinking, I don't smoke cigars, so don't
Never
worry.
tried caviar either.
Yeah,
I'll pass.
I'll have some champagne with you, don't worry. And the people were floating around us and making a fuss of us. We got extremely well fed. And I said to the, where are we staying tonight? He said, oh, John, you're guests of us. You're staying here. My staff have taken care of rooms for you. You're here. You're my guest. Have some cognac. Don't worry about where you're staying. Yeah, it's all on me. Taken care of. So I'm getting like kind of tired at this point. I'm like thinking, all I want to do is go to bed. I've been up since early morning. I've flown from...
So all this has happened in one day.
Yeah, all one day. I'm tired.
So we're at this estate, and
So yeah, I'm getting tired at this point. And I say to the Bulgarian host, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed if that's all right. I'll see you in the morning. He said, is there anything else that you want? And me, I said, yeah, I could do with a couple of blondes.
a couple of what? Sorry.
A couple of blondes.
Okay.
That was kind of me being blasé, like I normally am. I went to bed, didn't think anything of it. Yeah.
Where did you lot come from?
Literally.
Exactly what happened.
Honestly.
Exactly what happened. At like 2, 3 in the morning, I got a knock on the door, and I had two like statuesque Bulgarian blondes stood at my door.
I'd have been going, can someone pinch me? This is actually happening.
But I just went, oh, thank you for coming, shut the door on them, went back to bed.
No.
I did.
Okay, let's just stop there. Let's back up.
That one
So,
hit me as well. When I read it, I thought, what?
Yeah, I'd have to go over that line a couple of times. So we've gone to bed.
Yeah.
On an off chance, you've said to the host, just a couple of blondes will do. Gone to bed. And all of a sudden, a couple of hours later, and be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So you've sent them on the way.
Yeah.
Which are about as bewildered as what I am at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you've gone back to bed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So,
wow.
Fine. I wake up, breakfast time. Yeah. I was kind of alarm bells were ringing.
I'm not surprised.
I was kind of, it was, at that point I'm thinking, I'm still with the American guy, it's not quite ringing.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Is the American guy still there?
Yeah,
Still
and
there?
it's not
Okay.
quite ringing true, but I got up, had a shower, came down for breakfast, I guess. American guy's already down there, dressed, looking immaculate, having his breakfast, talking to host. And it was really early I'd woken up, because I do, and I'm thinking, American guy's opened up a bit earlier, not normal. Normally comes in the office at like 11. It's like 6 in the morning, what's going on? So they'd had their meeting before I arrived back.
Okay.
Obviously.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The other one.
But I didn't think anything of that. So we get put into the Merc, driven to the airport, fly back.
So before we get back to Blackpool,
Yeah.
did you finalise a deal with this race course?
We did.
You did?
We did. So,
So
American...
the host, Mr. Host, is all happy.
Yeah.
So the only people that weren't happy in this deal were them two blondes that you sent on the way.
Yeah.
So bar them two, everyone's sick.
Everyone's
Right,
fine.
okay. So back in Blackpool.
Back in Blackpool, American guy comes in the office. Yes, John, it's all been agreed. I can buy the race course. What they would like you to do. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Kentucky for a couple of months. And this was kind of coming up to the Kentucky Derby time.
So what month are we in now?
We're in
2005?
kind of say we're in April
Okay.
ish. Heading Kentucky Derby is the first weekend in May.
Right, okay, I didn't
So
know
so kind of makes sense that he needs to be back in
Out there, okay.
Kentucky. I said, when do you want me to go? He said, well, can you go early June for me? I'm in Kentucky.
that. Is that back out to Latvia?
Yeah, no, back to Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Can you go early June for me? Because I'll be in Kentucky arranging the finances for the race course while I'm there talking to my people
Race
in the
course.
bank and race course. Yeah, fine. So early June comes round and
Mr. American's over in America.
He's still out in
Kentucky,
America.
right?
His paperwork had come by fax confirming from the bank that he could afford it. So he rings me and said, John, you should have got proof that I can afford to buy it. You need to take that with you when you go out to Bulgaria.
Yeah.
In a big financial transaction that's kind of normal, that they want to see proof that you've got the money.
A lot of people that buy football clubs have to go through that process of can you prove that you've got the money to back, to pay for the club. So okay, yeah,
that kind of made sense to me.
Yeah.
So I got that a free week in June to go from the estate agent. He was quite happy because he'd had his Latvia pay. I think the American guy had given him some money for us going out to Bulgaria, me taking me out of work as such. I think there'd been brown envelopes going on or some kind of payment. So the estate agent was more than happy for me to go back.
But he was.
So he was getting paid. I was having a great time. So it was all good. My sister's husband at the time, I'd been over to their house before my Bulgaria trip, and I'd said to him, I've got a Bulgaria next week. I know you work for yourself. Do you fancy coming with me? I said, I've got a week over there. He said to my sister, is it all right we go with John for a week in Bulgaria? Yeah, go. I'm all right. I've got the kids, got my job. Yeah, you go. So, fine. So we went over to Bulgaria.
So you're back in, so you've gone together to Bulgaria.
We've gone together to Varna, Bulgaria.
So why have you gone to Varna this time?
To give a person at the racetrack proof of funds. That the
so
American
this is always
guy,
again to dot the I's, cross the C's.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So first day there, I said to Jeff, my ex-brother-in-law, while we're here this week, I've got one job today and one job only, is we've got to go to this race course to drop off proof of funds. Oh, yeah, well, let's go and do it the first day. And then we're, all right, yeah. Jump in a cab, we go to the race course. We give them the proof of funds to staff. Fine, back on holiday, as we thought we were on holiday. Holiday's going great, no problem.
How long have you been out there?
4 or 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So
you've done everything on the first day?
Yeah, we were getting towards...
So for the next following days, really, it's just like a glorified
kind of
holiday.
partying, drinking food and enjoying ourselves. We're getting to the end of the week and thinking back, certain faces started appearing.
In what aspects?
There'd be people that looked out of place, appearing at bars, appearing at the hotel we were staying at.
But not engaging with you?
No, not engaging with me, just kind of...
And what made you notice them? What made you look at them?
Because they were kind of...
Looking at you?
They were kind of the Bulgarian standard mafia type build people. that were in places that were going out.
I picture in my mind, if it helps, those scenes in a film, like Mission Impossible, and they do the retake back into the image, and then there's somebody serving food, a waiter, who's kind of, absolutely ripped and built like a brick shit house, and you think...
Not necessarily what you'd expect a waiter
exactly.
to
And I
that kind of thing.
I picture that in my mind.
I'd picked up
like
on
for the
that.
viewers at home, as I just said.
I kind of...
Person of interest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Great. Do you know
Absolutely.
that lasts very long for whatever reason?
Even John Wick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So that kind of not gave me alarm bells, but gave me a little bit of concern, shall we say?
And what?
Because I'd seen them before on my previous trip to Bulgaria. I'd seen them
And then you just
around.
think, I didn't think you was a fucking waiter.
Yeah,
Right, okay, that
kind
sort
of
of thing.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
On the final evening with them, me and Jeff, we were out in the centre of Varna. We got invited to a wedding. Oddly, a wedding party. We're walking down the high street.
What, some random just
Some
said,
random
do you want to come to a
dude
party?
came out of a
Come to a
hotel and
party?
said, "Come and join the party." And we thought, oh, go and join the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? They're having a great time. We did that. We got separated.
Okay. There we go.
So it was planned.
Oh, okay.
So it was planned. I was in the party, enjoying it. Couldn't find Jeff. Was thinking, oh, Jeff must have gone off with a girl somewhere. No questions asked. I'll see him.
Ask no questions, I'll tell you no lies.
I'll see him in the morning at the hotel when we're having breakfast. I'm not asking because I know he's with my sister, but I'm not asking. I'm not getting
I
involved.
would have been.
Yeah, so don't get involved. I'm not involved. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'll see Jeff in the morning. So he'd been kind of distracted and taken away from me in the party on purpose. From where the hotel bar was, where we're having the wedding party, or we're
Is he still
invited
in
to
Varna?
it, in Varna, I had to walk over a bridge to get back to the old town of Varna to get a cab back to our hotel. So I'm walking through like a park area. It's well lit, kind of, I guess, semi-rural, but I can see buildings in the skyline. I'd had plenty to drink, but I was okay. I was kind of aware of my surroundings.
But you was
Yeah.
you was quite few sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd had a few, which is, I'm on holiday, fair enough.
Why not?
Why not? And I get grabbed by 4 people.
Okay, so you've left the party.
Yeah. I'm
You've
wandering
couple
up
of
this...
few sheets to the wind.
Yeah, up this lane.
You're not overly worried because you've got your bearings.
Yeah,
You're not in desolate place. You've got
No.
buildings around you, and all of a sudden, from out the blue,
Yeah,
4 guys have kidnapped you.
yeah. Four big guys have grabbed hold of me.
So what, like these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mafia type, bodybuild type.
Eastern European.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They grabbed me, and
where did this happen? Was it on the main road? Was it in the
was
park?
on a bridge that leads the old town to the new town.
So you've passed this park.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've been following
The
you.
park is like kind of one side of the bridge.
So you've come to this park.
Yeah,
You're crossing this park.
yeah,
These are obviously following you.
yeah.
And just before you've come across this bridge,
Yeah.
and what was the bridge over? Was it road or was it
It's
water?
over water,
So it's
but
over a
also over roads. So there's kind of
So it's a big bridge.
underpasses.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think you showed me a picture of this bridge.
Yeah.
So if we can get this on the on the monitors for you to show you.
Yes.
We will do.
Yeah.
But this is more like, because when you told me a bridge, I was picturing more of like a fucking canal bridge. you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But this is more like a
Yeah, it
flyover,
is.
flyover bridge
Exactly that.
of a motorway. So you
It
can
is,
imagine
yeah.
rivers underneath, you got roads underneath. So it's a big, huge bridge.
Yeah. So it connects the old town to new town. So rather like Istanbul, where the bridge connects Asia Istanbul to European Istanbul.
Okay.
So kind of the same thing.
So more like the bridge that connects Bristol to Wales.
Yes.
That sort of
That
sort
kind
of
of thing.
So we're talking quite a substantial
build.
structure. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not what I
like
was
that.
imagining.
No.
Do you know what? Can I just say?
Of course,
It was
yeah,
the
yeah.
same for me. I think I
Obviously,
saw
when
the bridge. I saw
when
the
someone
bridge. You
says a
saw.
bridge to me, I'm just thinking it's somewhat over a canal. or
I've known
something
John
like
a
that.
year, and John has only recently shown me the bridge. And when he showed me the bridge,
Was it the same reaction?
it absolutely,
how
absolutely,
excuse my language, but how in fuck's name did you
Yeah,
survive being
totally.
thrown off that?
totally.
Do you know what I mean?
So
We'll get to that.
I remember, and this is important because
Just before we go on, for the viewers at home, what would you say the height was? What should we just say on average? 200 foot.
from where I got pushed over to the underpass road is about 10 metres, maybe 12 metres, so
At least.
35 to
Just over.
40 foot, probably more.
I'd say minimum of about 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
50,
could well
60
be.
feet, yeah.
Yeah, could well be.
Wow. So substantially.
Substantial,
Wow. So, okay, so we've gone through this park and you've been
grabbed.
kidnapped. Right.
Yeah. And I remember, and I don't remember actually being shot, but I remember the noise of a bullet. So this, I think, is important for the people that are out there. I've been told by various people that if you hear a bullet, then you're not dead. But if you don't hear a bullet, it's too late, you're already dead. So if you get shot and you actually hear the bullet, you're not dead because the bullet's already made impact, but your senses have come into play and you've heard it. If you've not heard a bullet,
let's just
it's
stop.
too late.
Trying to take it all in. Go on.
Yeah, so I'd heard the bullet, but then I came round at the bottom of this bridge in a pool of blood.
So we'll stop there. So you've gone across this bridge, you've been kidnapped by 4 guys. They've shot you.
Yeah.
You know you've been shot. Between that point and waking up in the pool of blood, do you remember anything?
Nothing.
No. Because I've been in, nothing like that, but I've been in trauma where I was in a car accident that broke my neck and my back. And between a certain point of where I could hear my dad to waking up in hospital on this bed going through, just lights going above me. I don't remember anything, nothing.
No.
Which is why I asked the question, because your brain sort of protects itself and
Yeah.
shuts off.
Mm.
So when you come to in the pool of blood, where are we now? Are we?
I'm on a road that fronts onto water. So I'm either on a coax road or a river road. So
And where are
when
these-
I look above,
where are
is
they?
that bridge.
And do you see anybody? Do you see anyone?
I don't see anybody other than I remember my eyes flickering and I see a light down the road on a car. I remember that light.
Don't tell me that hits you.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Pitch black, midnight-ish, 1 a.m. I see this light on a car. And then I try and stand up.
After falling.
and try and make my way to that light. So I stand up.
So for the viewers at home, let's just take this step by step. That you've plunged 60 feet to the ground. You've landed on your legs, and you've just tried to stand up after contemplating all that, after being shot, thrown off a bridge, legs shattered.
Yeah.
You're seeing a car coming towards you.
Yeah.
And you try and stand up.
Yeah.
How?
Because I grabbed hold of the wall or the rocks that were at the side of me and kept trying to push myself up. At that point, I'd become completely sober. So whatever I'd drunk, I was completely aware of. My senses went into overdrive.
Must be adrenaline, massive.
I was kind of...
I think it's more shock.
Massive,
Survival mode.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm trying to... So I'm welling up a bit. I'm trying to contemplate on...
Remember, he's a man.
Yeah.
Whichever way he's supposed to survive.
That spirit, that survival, that desire to keep alive is like, wow.
Before we move on, let's just try and grasp what just happened there, because you've been shot, kidnapped, shot, thrown off a bridge, legs are shattered, and through all that, your body is still in survival mode.
Yeah.
Doesn't that show how amazing that the body that you've been given for free is that strong?
Yeah.
And what you were saying earlier on, that you're physically not strong. Are you sure? Don't you want to go back? Don't you want to go back and revisit that? Because from what I'm hearing, not only are you physically strong, right, but you're mentally strong. Now, I class myself as physically strong. I do MMA. I'm not really.
Yeah.
But would I class myself as that strong? Not in a chance. Would I be able to pull myself? I don't think I would have survived the fall, much alone.
No.
I would just say,
put it there, man.
Yeah.
I can't do that justice to what I've just tried to take in.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just said physically, I'm not very strong. Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Don't ever put yourself down like that, because even the strongest people in the world aren't going to come back from what you just told me. So let's pick up the story that you're again seeing these lights coming towards you.
Yeah.
Story
And it
shows.
was a cab driver who'd seen me being thrown off the bridge.
So we witnessed the whole thing.
He witnessed the whole thing. And he was very concerned, I guess, for me and for himself.
For witnessing.
Yeah. But he pulled up, opened the back doors, and physically dragged me into his back seat of his car.
For me, wow. Okay, I've just contemplated the miracle of you surviving that, but for the guy not to hit you and then bundle you in the back of the car, how God's timing to send someone at that particular time to have picked you up, put you in the back of the car, and take you to wherever he took you. I'm guessing it's hospital.
No, he took me to the hotel. He wouldn't take me to the hospital.
So we're still in immense pain.
Still in immense pain, blood everywhere.
Shots.
I mean, everywhere.
Legs are gone.
Yeah, legs gone.
You can't really grasp what's going on.
But my senses are alive. You wouldn't believe. I was picking up everything. I was running on overdrive on everything.
So we're in the back.
Heart was beating like a.
We're in the back of this car.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy from Adam.
No idea. I know it's a cab.
Except that it's a cab, and he's near enough saved your life.
He saved my life.
Does he tell you where he's going?
He asked me where I was staying, and I got the hotel key card in my pocket.
Wow.
And I gave it him.
Wow.
And he drove through every red light, stop sign. He just blew down the road. He wasn't stopping for anyone. He didn't care who was around. He wanted me out of that cab but he wasn't going to just abandon me. He got me back to the hotel I was staying at. When we pulled up at the hotel, he dragged me out of the hotel. So again, immense strength from him to drag me out of the back seat.
I'm just, while all this is going on, I'm still thinking about the pain that you must.
Oh, immense. But my brain must have shut off from all that. I don't know. I still don't know to this day if I damaged my brain in the fall, or I certainly must have done something.
Is that your speech?
Yeah, speech sometimes is.
Is that going to be for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I just wish the depravity of humans against other humans didn't exist, but it does. And to hear stories, obviously we watch the films, that really do. But when you're sitting across from the table to someone that it's happened to, and they're living proof to tell us, wow, it puts a whole different aspect of life, and how precious life is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's.
So we're at your hotel.
So he's dragged me out of the car and put me up against the wall outside the hotel.
Standing up.
No,
Sitting down.
I'm on the floor in bits. I've got bits of bones hanging out of my leg and blood everywhere, and I'm in a mess. Although my brain's still at 100 mile an hour.
Dialed up, yeah.
But so someone sees this, the cab driver sped off. He didn't take any money from me. He was frightened for his own life.
Didn't take any money from me. Are you absolutely kidding me?
I'd have paid
Oh yeah,
him.
that's 20 quid, by the way.
But that's me being me, you know, he's doing his job.
Wallet's in my back pocket.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
You know, he sped off at high speed, and I remember there.
The fact that you can just drop that in.
That's just,
He didn't ask for no money. I suppose
He
that's
let me off the fare.
Yeah, he let me off the fare.
yeah, and he sped off, and someone came out of the hotel, and
Imagine coming out of that hotel to see like one of your real guests with bones coming out of his legs. This guy sped off. You know, you'd be thinking like, what the fuck? What's happened?
Again, I keep thinking this played out in real time. So in the book, it's you turning a page as John's talking now. John's talking now, it's like the minuscule moments, but this was like you said a moment ago, the pain prolonged over.
Yeah, you've got to.
this
It's
period
all
of
right
time. This is
reading a paragraph. It's all right listening to a story, but you've got to stop and
visualise
really
it,
take
visualise
in
it.
like
Yeah.
exactly what he's saying
Absolutely.
or what's being said.
Absolutely.
You know, you've really got to like. This is not a film. It's not dramatised, or it's not loosely based on a true story. This is step by step.
Absolutely.
Because Netflix, I'm not sure if you're aware of at the moment, they released a film called Baby Reindeer.
Oh yeah,
And it was based, sold as a true story. No. So Netflix not only got into a £100 million, multi-million pound battle, but they've also ruined lives in the process. Ruined lives where they've not protected anyone. They've not done anything like that. And it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy is, not only is it real, but he can make you laugh in between bits, which is staggering. And we don't laugh as in laugh, but we're laughing with you.
You've got it. It's the only thing that got me through this.
I think
This needs to be toned down.
I was going to say, I think with John, it's the opposite way around. I mean, from it was like when I was, again, like as MK was saying, when I first met John, and I won't say names, but the woman that we was out with, she wanted to sign John up to sign his life away for these films, and she wanted me to make the film. And as MK knows, because he's edited a lot of my work, I didn't have the capabilities to do that film justification for what it needed to be done. And And as you were saying before this interview kicked off, I wanted, or in my head, this was more or less in the pipeline of what we was doing with True Podcasts. So I says to John, like, it'd be an honour to make that movie, but I don't think I've got the capabilities to do that just yet. But I would love to get you on as a guest to be able to tell your story. And if it's not me that picks it up, let's just hope whoever does pick this story up and turns it into a film.
Totally.
Mr. Benny Whips.
I know it's a cliche thing to say, but I think for me, working creatively with John, it's the sensitivity.
How long have you known John?
It's been a year. It's been a year, just about a year.
And what brought you two together?
John's creativity, John's poetry.
You didn't meet him in Bulgaria, did you?
No, definitely not. No,
you weren't a taxi driver, was
good
you?
Good old sunny Blackpool, yeah. So yeah, I'd moved to Blackpool.
Sunny Blackpool. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever been to Blackpool when it's ever been sunny.
It is, honestly.
It's fucking raining.
I'm trying to do something for the tourist trade, yeah, but it is sunny. But yeah, we met through John's creativity, my creativity, mutual contact. I'm a singer-songwriter, lyricist first and foremost, throat cancer survivor.
Whoa.
I'm used to saying it. Yeah.
I'm getting two stories thrown at me here. So we've got a miracle there and a miracle there.
Thank you.
Okay, so throat cancer.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I've not forgotten about you.
No.
I'm just John.
You're not just John.
I'll keep it brief because it is only just part of the story. So yeah,
Well, you're part of John's story as well. Hence
totally,
why you're here.
Totally.
And you've got a story to tell. So,
but the reason I've shared that is the prolonged period year with no voice. That's what throat cancer did to me for a period of time.
I think people think if I had a voice for a whole year, the people would be putting out the banners.
I think a lot of people thought that of me as well. Yeah, but it's back now. And then met John, and learned part of what you've experienced and the audience have experienced, and his 4.5 years to get his voice back. So that put things massively in context for me. That didn't mean a year with no voice. That's a breeze, But
do you see what I mean? Do you see when? Like stubbing your toe over morning, you think, and you carry that throughout the day, and you having a voice for a whole year. Yeah. I bet you thought, why has life done this to me? And then you meet someone who couldn't speak for 4 years.
Totally.
Do you see what I mean? Where you think you've been dealt the worst card in life, and then someone comes into your life that just completely blows you out of the water.
The key for me is what we've done with that, and that's why I think John's so generous. Because now he's decided, which would be understandable. Do you know what? I don't want to think about it ever again. I don't want to say the name Bulgaria ever again. I don't want to think about the mafia. I don't want to think about the mob. I don't want to whatever. I don't want to talk about fucking real estate ever again. He's done the complete opposite of that. Complete opposite. Turned it into a book. Turned it into songs. Turning it into a book to film project because he's so generous and positive that he wants to inspire people. And that's where I genuinely now, in working with John, I just find it absolutely incredible how somebody can live the life that John's lived and take that. I think this I want people to know it. And also a lot of that, big part of that for me is because the unheard is people actually burying this, people wanting to keep this quiet. That's a massive part of John's life. So Bulgaria were joining the EU. With what happened with the estate agent coming back into the UK, News at 10 were involved, and then suddenly everything went totally radio silence, nothing. So because John wants to share it, my feeling is, I want to do wherever I can, and I know obviously being here today is incredible.
That's the whole reason I wanted to start True Podcast. One was, it's been a dream of mine to learn new skills as well as acting, but the secondly was to create a platform because I love watching podcasts. I love watching Joe Rogan, James English, Joe Kirby, different diverse podcasters that talk about different things. And I thought, well, I've never even hosted a bingo event. How am I going to host a podcast? Where am I going to get the how? And MK has not only made it happen, but it's made it a reality. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't say I'm in debt to him, but my commitment to him is travelling from Birmingham every day and hosting the best show that I can to do him justice, and obviously do this studio justice. And also, I don't want this platform to be censored. You know, we're totally independent. It's a free platform for anything goes. As you can probably tell now, if it's not been bleeped out, we can swear, we can talk about anything. We can shed a tear, we can all have a hug, and if you can put a bit of music on, we'll have a dance. But it is exactly for what you two are here for, is to tell John's story, to support him in his whatever you're doing, but also to bring back awareness that shit happens to people. And you would necessarily meet in John, you'd never know the stuff that he's been, especially the way he is. He's not angry. No. He's not bitter. He doesn't want revenge.
Completely.
If anything, he, like the taxi man, he'll drop funny bits in where it shouldn't need to be funny bits, and you can't help but laugh. And you feel guilty for laughing, but you shouldn't.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
He's
a victor, a champion, and
it's a privilege to have him not only come down from Blackpool as he did yesterday, but to come on the show, to spend time talking about harrowing story like he has done, and make us laugh at the same time. You know, it's I wish a lot more people could be like you, humble.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, completely.
I always
What's the word
say
I'm looking? Not humble.
I'm just John.
And I disagree. That's the only time I disagree. That's the only time.
Yeah,
I
that'll be on his head grave.
No.
Here lies just John.
Just John.
Definitely not.
So, okay, we've gone back to the hotel where, thanks MK, where, see, it's all about the team. It's all about the team.
Our boy there.
He's a great guy. So we've gone back to the hotel, your legs are in absolute pieces, the taxi driver's gone away.
Yeah.
Thanks, Benny. And just before we go, what do you think to the food?
Not for me.
It's great.
We've got biscuits, we've got likewise, we've got apples, we've got tea, coffee, water. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
So, and
I've started it.
yeah. So, so let's pick up the story from where we left off.
So, left outside the hotel.
Still no pain relief.
No pain relief. Hotel staff come running out. Me being me, trying to stand up. Impossible. Blood everywhere. Hoping that I could go into the hotel.
But you must have lost a lot of blood between
I did.
landing, hitting the floor, and being outside the hotel.
I did.
So you must have been like weak,
Very
weak.
But my mind was 100%.
Right.
The hotel.
Again, testimony to how strong he is.
I remember, and this is a word that rattles me even now. This word is probably the worst word.
Now I'm looking forward to hearing about this word.
Yeah, this word is probably the worst word I've ever heard. And if any word in the English dictionary, Oxford, whatever, gets me angry, it's this. The staff came out and said, protocol. So they wouldn't let me in the hotel.
Hey?
Wouldn't let me in.
That's protocol.
They shut the door at the hotel, but they did ring an ambulance. So even though I was staying there and I had 2 rooms there, because I had mine and my brother-in-law's room there, they wouldn't let me in the hotel.
So what's happened to your brother-in-law at this point?
No idea.
No, not a clue.
No, a clue at this stage. Me thinking I'll see him at breakfast and in the morning. But obviously I didn't. But so I'm there on the floor, in bits, blood everywhere, hotel not letting me in. The typical Del Boy ambulance arrives. 1950s
Delboy ambulance.
Yeah, Delboy
I've got
ambulance.
What was the episode? Chain Gang.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Wow.
where
I
old Merton was a huge fan,
Me
and
too.
Arnie was the guy that was faking
It was a
the heart
scam
attacks.
they had kind of going on, wasn't it? Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that arrives.
I could visually see that. So
Yeah.
well done, John.
So then I get taken into the back of this ice cream van because
And was the music playing?
I don't recall it.
Sorry about that. It just gets more random.
Yeah, it wasn't. Couldn't
Further
get
we
an
go
ice
on.
cream anywhere.
Did you get an ice cream?
Couldn't get one anywhere.
Has to be free. 99.
So get taken to what I find is Varna Hospital. I didn't know it was Varna Hospital at that time. Just got taken to what looked like
So you arrived at hospital in an ice cream
it
van.
looked like if you've got the image of a Victorian workhouse building in your mind, it looked like an old convent.
So when
Victorian-
we go to these old work towns like Burnley and things like that,
Yeah.
we see these old workhouses. That was a hospital.
That was it.
Right,
that is
okay.
the image.
And
that
you arrived
see.
there in an ice cream van.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
1950s ambulance. Yeah,
Right.
what we use for Mr. Whippy, of course.
A glorified ice cream van. Wow.
Yeah, and
So you were stretchered into this.
stretchered into there, but just four
And you-
people carried me in. They didn't have a wheelie trolley. They didn't have a trolley with any wheels in. I got carried in by four big
And
guys.
what year was this?
2005.
See, I could be forgiven thinking it was 1955.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you was carried in by four people.
It was June,
No pain
June
relief.
2005.
Are you still pissing blood?
Yeah.
Wow. And
Congealed blood everywhere.
then you was obviously taken into A&E.
I'm taken into A&E, if you can call it that.
So briefly for the viewers at home, describe what A&E is like in Bulgaria.
Bulgaria pre-EU is like being taken into an industrial kitchen. So,
It's so much like an abattoir.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've got that absolutely perfect. Yeah, like
So when
an
we go into a
abattoir.
hospital, we are greeted by professionals. We're taken in an ambulance. We
Yeah.
put on pain medication.
Yeah,
We're taken, and we moan about laying on a bed in a corridor. Okay, we shouldn't be doing that anyway. But this guy has just been through all that. Still no pain relief.
no,
So still no pain relief. And are you lying on a bed or is it
I'm
a
lying
table?
on a
or-
metal
so it's not.
workbench.
It's not even an actual bed. It's a metal,
Like a hard
No.
table.
like a hard
Yeah, it's
metal
a-
table,
it was
no mattress.
A restaurant kitchen workbench where they would
Where you
cook.
chop food
Yeah.
on. Wow. Yeah, I know.
Oh, it is that because I know what's coming. Sorry.
So you're lying on this bed,
I'm
lying on this table with these people are looking over you.
just one doctor, and he looks at me, and he licks his thumb like that, and he shoves the bones that are protruding out of my leg back into my leg. He
So hold
literally
on.
did that.
So this medical professional,
Yeah,
if that's what you want to call him,
yeah, well, yeah,
without any pain relief,
nothing.
lying on a
At that
cold
point.
metal table,
Yeah,
is physically pushing your
physically
bone.
pushing the bones back into my leg.
Can I just give a sense of context?
You have to.
I can, because when I was young, I fell down the stairs and broke my leg. Next door neighbour came round and was moving my leg,
Oh,
and I thought that was painful.
wow.
That's what I mean when I think of what John's just shared. It takes me back to that thing that I thought was painful. Actually, was.
So what is going through your mind when he's trying to push these bones back into your leg?
I'm being me, which is, I know I'm crazy.
Please don't tell me you're trying to crack jokes while lying on the table.
I'm just being very calm and kind of collected, and my brain is still going at 100 miles an hour.
See, I sorry to talk, but I panic when MK is a bit late. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On this sort of level I panic when I forgot a couple of lines or a few words, but this is, how can you remain calm
I did.
at that particular point in time?
The bones had splintered from the fall, and he was trying to push the bones back into my leg before he gave me stitches.
And this is still without pain relief?
I hadn't got any pain relief at that point.
Okay, so how long is all this going on for?
I must have been in that room for about half an hour. He then put stitches in me, and from that point I don't remember anything else until the next morning. In a room probably the size of this studio with 6 beds in.
Wow, that must have been like...
It was tight.
And these people, were they in a similar sort of position than what you was in?
Yeah, they were in there for injuries and whatever. I don't know.
And how long was you in this ward bed?
When I woke up in the morning, there was 2 aspirin at the side of my bed, and that was the first painkillers I'd ever been offered or given or anything. And I'm guessing what we would call like an auxiliary nurse came round with a metal beaker full of water. So it's like a tin cup.
I bet you're just sick of this tin cup, metal tables.
Yeah.
You're like, really, get me home.
Cold.
Yeah, it's
cold.
Cold War. And I took the painkillers, and then about an hour later, 6 police officers arrived with a attractive translator woman, 20s, maybe 30. She was doing all the speaking. I'm guessing the police couldn't speak English. And she stood back while the police beat me up in the hospital.
Police? For what reason?
They wanted me to sign some paperwork to say, nothing had happened, you don't know where you are.
Hold on, whoa. So you've just gone through all this?
Yeah.
The first bit of pain relief was aspirin?
Yeah.
Isn't that for headaches?
Exactly.
Right, so that did make no end of difference. So you're still in pain?
Yeah.
And then why you think, okay, police, finally, I can tell someone that what's happened, I can finally get help, I can finally get back home.
Yeah.
What you think is the cavalry coming to help you, you suddenly realise that they're not.
No.
And they're there to do you more harm.
They beat me up in the hospital bed.
In front of the rest of the people that were
Yeah,
in the
in
room.
front of the rest of the people. But they saw what was happening and kind of turned away. I noticed that they were kind of doing that.
Do you know when you actually reach that point where you've survived all that, you come across a guy that saved you, brought you back to your hotel, you've somehow made it to a hospital, you somehow made it to a hospital bed, you finally think that, okay, I'm finally out of this shit.
Yeah.
I need to find that. No, you're not really. So at that point, how do you not only bring the coping mechanism back, but how do you carry on? How does John comprehend in the reality of your time at that particular time, comprehend what's going on, and then, I don't know.
I think
Keep
I
going.
was just in survival mode all the way through all that. The lady made me sign some paperwork to say nothing had happened.
What kind of beating did they inflict?
They punched me and smacked me around, and then they padlocked me to the bed.
Handcuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just had your legs shattered. Where on earth are you
I'm
gonna
not
go?
going to run anywhere, am I? You know.
So what
I
is that just to stop you from fighting back, do you reckon?
A bit of that, and I did find out later that,
That's just
of course, that
really angry.
my stitches needed paying for, and because I'd got no money on me, they thought I was going to skip the country or something, so they padlocked me to the bed. I couldn't
For the sake of
escape
not paying
anyway.
for stitches.
They when I was at the hotel, they'd broken in my hotel room.
The police?
When I'm guessing the police or the hotel realised that at the side of my bed was my insurance policy. They realised I was insured for medical expenses, and that was the worst thing they could have found, because we've got more in the story that goes on from that.
So you'd have thought that would have been the other way around. You'd have thought that okay, now you're going to receive everything you're entitled to.
Yeah, well, because I had medical insurance under my travel insurance policy, that caused me further problems. But yeah, we're getting onto that shortly.
Right. So the police have now gained access into your. Well, you're guessing it was the police who had access to your hotel
I'm
room.
guessing.
Let's just agree.
Yeah.
For argument's sake, it was the police.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me in the least. And then what?
Well, they beat me up in the hospital, padlocked me to the bed, and then the lady made me sign some paperwork. So don't forget, this time I'm in a bad way, but I'm now got...
In a bad way, just to put it politely.
I've now got blood all over my face and black eyes and all the rest of it.
And again for me, because I've come into John's life, being with John, spending down here, coming down to be with you today, and being other places, is the silencing. Sign this document. We don't want people to know what happened here. We don't want people to know that. And I think I can't genuinely, I've been to trauma, I've faced trauma, I've seen people who've experienced trauma. It's really, really difficult to fully grasp, even though I've heard it several times. I've read it. I didn't read the book for a while. I didn't read Fall Guy for a while. I knew what the story was and I wanted to avoid it. My partner read it. And she said, and me and John are connected creatively at this point. She said, once you start reading it, you won't be able to put it down. And I made a choice to avoid. I didn't want to face what John had experienced. And when I did, that kept coming through of, sign this, we don't want people to know, this needs to be silenced. And
It's in the typical governments, doesn't that piss you off?
absolutely. Spot on. And I
they-
think it goes that high. I really, really do.
Of course it
really
does.
do.
Come on.
I really do.
Who do the police work for?
Yep.
Yeah,
They don't work for themselves.
Yeah.
no.
So it doesn't matter what country you seem to go in. The government doesn't really care about you, do they?
No.
They don't care what country you are. They don't care where you're from.
No.
As long as the truth doesn't get out.
Yeah.
No?
The same silencing happened when I got back to England
Exactly.
from England government. Same thing.
And we'll get to that because that's I didn't know that. Okay. That's okay, so before we push on too far and get lost in the conversation, the police have gone into your hotel room, gained access, however way it was. They've got your insurance documents.
Yeah.
And then they've returned back to you at the hospital. Is that right?
They beat me up at the
And they're
hospital.
beating you up, yeah.
They padlocked me to the bed.
And how long was you padlocked for? Was it days, hours?
A couple of days, I think. Certainly more than a day.
Okay, so they've come back after a few days, unlocked you.
No.
No?
Next morning, at the side of the bed was some paperwork that said I could fly home. I fell asleep at some point and woke up and the paperwork had gone. And a nurse came in and said, tomorrow operation. Because they realised that they can milk my medical expenses and my travel insurance by operating me in Bulgaria.
So they didn't really
send
do
me
that
out.
for your benefit then?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking absolutely. It's criminal.
So they've done the operation.
No, not at this point.
Wow.
You've got more to come on that. The paperwork disappeared. They've then said they're going to operate on me. Operation day came. In the meantime, in all this, I got one meal every couple of days from the hospital. That was it. And I got no more painkillers until after the operation. So
you've gone through 4 days
yeah,
on just aspirin.
yeah,
You've been beaten up.
yeah,
You've been padlocked to the bed
yeah,
for over 24 hours,
yeah,
going into more 48 hours.
yeah.
You're then told you're going home. You've fallen asleep, woke up, only to find that you're not going home. You're going for an operation.
Yeah.
So in my mind, if I was to put myself in that bed, I'll be thinking, well, at least I'm getting worked on. Surely now, things can only get better. Surely. No.
It didn't.
Tell us why.
It didn't. So, day of operation comes, they carry me down. I didn't know at this point, but I was actually on the 6th floor of the hospital. And the hospital was the old Victorian workhouse. Didn't have a lift.
No.
Didn't have one. They carried me, manhandled down 12 flights of stairs, or 13 flights of stairs, because I got operated on in the basement of the hospital.
It is from the depths. It's from the depths, John, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I can't.
You'd-
I genuinely can't help myself but feel I've heard it.
You think it's
We-
just like
we've spent time, but
a film that's been like written by an absolute
yeah,
lover of horror films.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just tried to write this as painful
No,
as painful as possible, but it's not.
it's
It's
exactly
your
what
reality.
happened.
it's what you lived.
Yeah.
It's what you lived.
So, operation time, taken into the basement, I remember from being wide awake again, them dusting the metal dining table that they operated on and cleaning the cobwebs from the lights that were around me. They did give me a epidural, but I'm guessing it wasn't, and I certainly know it wasn't powerful enough.
Doesn't that go into your spine?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't powerful enough. They brought in a young nurse to hold my hand during the operation, so I was sat up there with my feet here, and they had a hammer and chisel
No.
chiseling away at my leg to put a steel pin in my leg.
Let me just stop you there. I had visions. You remember the film Misery? and she puts them 2 blocks of wood between the feet and boom with a hammer. That's exactly what I had in that sort of makeshift. Not really. There's no care in the world. We're doing what we're doing, so just put up with it.
Exactly.
Wow. I'm just trying to comprehend what would be going through my mind at that particular point.
So they were hammering away at my leg.
I know it's going to sound a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What was you feeling at this point? Was you numb? Was you pain?
I was numb. I think my
I
brain
completely passed out.
I have more flashbacks from the operation
Than anything
I
else.
have anything.
Can I just say though, John, because I know that everything you've shared so far, all of it, you've explained to me your PTSD is close to the maximum on the scale.
Yeah.
And there's an image. There's an image playing in the corner of your eye all the time of all of the things that you're talking about.
If I'm looking at you now, I've got a TV screen here and I'm watching it all, even now.
Which is incredible that you're able to actually so eloquently, if you forgive me for a moment, so eloquently share the detail of what you lived. What you lived. This is not the picture on the screen. This is you.
Yeah.
And when I hear it and sit next to you, it's one of the greatest honours and privileges in my life. John,
I've got
it
a
really is. It really
TV
is.
screen here, and I've got the operation on a reel, and it keeps spinning, and it's there permanently for me. And even worse when I'm tired.
Don't know. I've cried twice now as a host. It's meant to be my job to make you not cry.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, but sorry this has happened.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That is the worst flashbacks for me to date. Years and years later, I did have a job where the kitchen and the gents' toilets were in the basement, and 3-4 times I was found in the kitchen of the basement at my employment in tears because of flashback. Every time I went to the toilet, I thought I was going to get operated on again.
I'm just trying to get. Okay, so
You're a hero, John. You're a hero, and there's heroes.
yeah, do you know when they
among
say?
us as
Do you
heroes.
know when they say that not all heroes wear capes?
Yeah.
Because I rang you yesterday
Yeah.
while we was waiting in the car park with yesterday's guest, and I basically rang you just to make sure that you was okay.
Yeah, thank you
sorry, mate.
for that, yeah.
That you was that obviously you were still making today,
Yeah,
because I wanted to hear this story as an exclusive,
yeah.
up close and personal.
Mm.
And when you said you was on the way to London, I panicked. I was like, oh, shit, we got the wrong day.
We're a day over.
And no, you were just going down to London, to Camden, I think you went.
Yeah,
and
because we
walk
had
around.
a little job to do in there.
But the fact that you've got, that you had someone with you was a massive weight off my mind. I didn't want you coming down on your own, not knowing what to expect, and
Yeah,
knowing that a lot of trauma is still going to be with you.
yeah.
So I didn't want you to be on your own when you've seen the state of me.
Yeah,
I didn't want to set you off and then we
No.
both sitting there in a blubber.
no. My nervous laugh and the way I deal with things is the way I deal with things. It's not everybody that can do this, but it's the only way I've survived.
It is proof it can be done, even though people do deal with things in different ways. I think it is an example, Joe. And again, it contextualises me. It doesn't take away my pain, doesn't take away other people's pain, doesn't take away our pain, but it does enable us to think we can go to the absolute depths of despair that you've gone because you're living proof.
Yeah.
You're living proof. So it's nothing to do with making people feel inadequate because they are struggling with things.
Mm.
You did more than struggle with that. You met every part of that pain. You met every part of that pain, and you're here to share the strength of at least one human spirit, you,
Yeah.
but the human spirit that actually resides in all of us, that we can all in our own way.
I'm just sitting here asking you questions, and thanks to my team, I'm having to wipe myself down and pat myself down because I can't keep in just the emotion that I feel for you.
Yeah.
Not
Thank
only
you.
what you've said, but even to this day,
Yeah.
what you go through every single day, the life-changing injuries you've still got to endure. And there's nothing more that I can do than just to sit here and listen.
Yeah.
But I want to be a help. I want us to help you, get your story out there,
Yeah.
to try and recuperate whatever good life can give you back
Yeah.
that people have took away from you. Whether it's through publicity, whether it's through awareness. As long as we can do something to help you. That's the whole reason we've got you here today. So let's go back to your story before I start crying again.
Hammer and chisel operation. They then finished the operation, and I'm bundled into a hallway on the ground floor. So a hallway of like A&E, where there's people with cuts and damage and bleeding, and there's people there. I've just come out of a 3.5 hour operation where they've been hammering and chiseling at me, stitched me up, my legs blown up like a balloon. They've not put a cast on me. They've left me on a bench in a hallway. Then, probably half an hour later, 1950s ice cream van arrives again. Again with no ice cream for me.
You beat me to it.
But
Beat me to
it's
it.
just not
Beat me
good.
to it.
Not good. They bundle me into that, and I get taken to an isolated farmhouse bungalow in the middle
Now, this is
of...
definitely sounding like a bit more misery, don't you think?
It is, yeah.
A farmhouse in the middle of nowhere.
It was.
Hammer, chisel, nail.
Yeah, middle of nowhere. The only thing that I can say from being there is when I arrived, they fed me. But they didn't feed me again for a couple of days. But at that point, I was starving and I got well fed. And it's the first...
You've still got to be in pain at this stage.
I've just I'd literally come out of an operation half an hour before. So I'm in this bungalow. They actually give me a bed in this bungalow. But one of the people that I remember from grabbing me on that bridge, he stood in this bungalow, but wearing a white coat.
Hold on. So, on the bridge that you was thrown off,
Yeah,
you recognised.
I do.
You recognised a face from
Yes.
that bridge, and he's standing in this house
Yeah,
wearing a white coat.
yeah. Pretending he's a doctor.
And what is going through your mind at this particular point? Is
I'm
he
like
there?
horrified at that point because I'm thinking I'm going to get shot again, beaten up, dead.
You must want to call out, but you can't call out
Yeah, I
because you're
can't.
thinking, yeah.
I couldn't do anything.
Mm.
And then what happens? What I mean, what happens? I mean, what do you do? What's your
I'm-
next?
I'm-
What's
I'm
your
just-
next plan of action?
I didn't have any plan. I'm just in that bed. However, very strangely, my brother-in-law turns up at the bungalow.
So how did he know where he was?
Someone had obviously found him, told him where I was, and he was allowed to visit me at the bungalow.
Imagine his first question after, like, he must have been missing. How long had he been missing since you last saw him to this point? A week?
few days, yeah, probably.
So close on a week.
Yeah.
And what was his first question to you?
I thought you'd gone home. So he thought I would flown to England.
Had he gone back to the UK?
No. Because of the police breaking in to my hotel room and realising I was insured for medical expenses and blah, 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 they'd put a charge on the insurance policy for his room to be extended. So they knew that they were going to keep me, and he'd stayed at the hotel. Not told him where I was.
If I was him, I would be going like scatty, like,
He was.
fuck's John?
Yeah, he
What's
was.
happened to him? What? You know, you'd have been phoning home. No, he's not come home. What?
My sister was probably in a worse state than I was, with worry, because he was ringing home. Where's your John? Where's your John? Where is he? He's not here. Can't find him anywhere.
And I know it's an obvious thing to say, there's no cooperation. So not only is there the barbaric torture you've experienced, but I should imagine with your brother-in-law, there was no cooperation with him. There was obviously initially no
No.
communication of,
Nothing.
you know, John, this has happened, that's happened. He's just
Just nothing.
wandering,
Yeah.
not knowing
Like,
what.
First he was at a party,
Yeah.
and now he isn't. And then a week's passed, and you're visiting him, and you've got broken legs. You
Smashed up. But I'm in a bed.
surely he's got to be asking, like, what in fuck's name's going on here? What have you done to him? What you know? What's going on?
He's like asking all the questions, but we've got silent Mr. Muscle Bulgarian
In the white
Mafia
coat.
In the white coat.
Absolutely.
So
So it just shows you how much pull these people have actually got.
yeah. Oh yeah, far, far more than we even
So
consider.
look at just stopping that particular part in the story. Looking back, do you think the government had a lot to play in this?
Completely.
As enough allowing them
Oh yeah.
to impersonate, because people who work at the hospital know who works there, know who doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. So when this guy turns up, this big, thick-set guy, who obviously isn't a doctor, and the people who work there know they haven't seen him before. You've got to start asking questions. Okay, surely the government has got to be implemented in this somewhere along the line.
Oh, totally.
And a fear of it becoming known and needing it to be silenced and just about to join the EU, which John has shared with me before. And when he did that moment, I thought, wow. And the more you unpick and unravel, it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up in terms of the layers of who's involved. And that's where it takes a tremendous amount of courage to think, I'm actually going to share that, because there's the risks attached to that of the people involved and what they could do as a result of.
That's exactly what happened when I wrote my book, because I suffered from paranoia for about a month after I'd published the book.
Wow, so you've recognised this guy from the bridge.
Yeah,
He's obviously there keeping an eye on you
yeah,
and what's going on with you.
yeah.
What happens to him then? Do you see him again? Is he there for?
Yeah, he's there
All
every
the
day.
time?
Every day I'm there.
And how long are you in this bungalow for?
Over a week. I was between it happening, me getting home, totally about 12 days. So that kind of fits in, doesn't it? Kind of a week. Maybe,
Yeah, just
maybe
over
4 or 5 days in the hospital and a week in the bungalow. Kind of fits in.
So how did you get from the bungalow back to the UK? Or both of you get from the bungalow back to the UK? I'm still under the impression that your brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law went back to his hotel. He visited me a couple of more times that week, even though he didn't want to, but he made sure that he brought some painkillers with him and brought some sandwiches
I wouldn't have
with
left
him.
until you was coming with me.
Yeah.
Of painkillers.
Yeah, he did that. On the day I got away from that bungalow, there was some kind of voting going on. I don't know whether there was a local election, a general election, I don't know. But in the morning when I woke up, there was no one there. So on top of white coat men and the a nurse, kind of a nurse, like a female walking around trying to make a fuss and blah, blah, blah. Apart from that, no one else. But on that morning,
It just sounds like a scene from like Mission Impossible, you know, where the top good guy has got hurt and he has to go. He can't go to hospital because the bad guys will be waiting for him, so he has to go to like somewhere secret to get patched up. And
Totally.
doesn't it?
But it's real.
But it's real. That's what that's what I'm trying to get my head around.
Yeah.
It's not a film. It's not a book. Well, it is a book, but it's your life.
Yeah, so that day I got out of the bungalow, I heard screeching tyres outside. Yeah, screeching like that. And a young girl, 20s, opened the front door.
These young girls seem to be following you around.
Yeah, I know. Dangerous, aren't they?
There's a theme.
Yeah. Well, was it American singer said pretty girls can be dangerous.
Yeah, I can't adjust.
I just want to say it does still keep happening as well.
Does it
have
really?
noticed-
I have to start hanging around with you a lot more.
We were at the hotel earlier, and then John said, I think within a few minutes, and he told me about the lady on reception. Oh, she's this age, she's lived here. I thought, I only went up to my room for a couple of minutes.
I'm going to have to start taking notes on you.
So,
Even though when it mentioned the word actor, it still doesn't work for me.
She came into the bungalow with a wheelchair, and she had some crutches under her hand, under her arm, pushing a wheelchair. So she got me into the wheelchair, ran out of the bungalow with me, opened the back doors of this. It was, I don't know what they're called. Is it sedan, or it's one of the old Bulgarian Russian cars?
Oh, wow.
And she got me onto the back seat of this car and sped off as fast as the car would go. I did notice that every set of traffic lights we stopped at, the
Did
car
you know who this
cut
person
out.
was?
I didn't ask questions. I just noticed the signs out the window that were going towards the airport. So, airport sign,
Sign on a plane, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. When we got to the airport, Jeff, my brother-in-law, was there. So he'd been told to get to
I
the
wonder if
airport.
he'd sent her to...
No idea.
No idea.
I think a government minister, the same one who rings me, I get a call.
Okay.
Same one.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that
Yeah.
just
yeah.
before we wrap the conversation.
He has to go through security and all that. I don't. I get lifted up in like a cherry picker, and I got put onto the plane through the cockpit.
Hold on, well, so you've arrived at the airport
Yeah.
with this woman that's
Yeah.
screaming 100 miles an hour
Yeah,
as far
doing
as fast
her
this car's
best.
going to go.
Yeah.
you've pulled up to the airport.
Yeah.
She's got you out of the car and your brother-in-law's there, so they've got
Yeah.
you out of the car.
Yeah.
You're thinking you're just going to go and board a plane and go home.
Yeah.
Still, no. Still, they've got to go a different route, so you end up going to a cockpit
I got loaded onto that
via a
plane
cherry picker.
by a cherry picker into the cockpit. So they lifted over the glass flap or whatever there is for a cockpit, the metal and the glass and the screen and whatever, and loaded me in to that plane through the cockpit.
Oh, I'm just trying to
So like
process
your
that. in my head.
pilot's door, as if a pilot has a door. In the older
And
planes,
have you stayed in that cockpit for the duration of the flight?
No.
Oh, okay.
they've got me through into the normal cabin.
So
They've given me-
what was the reason for taking you in that way? Just because of your injuries?
They,
or?
they couldn't get the wheelchair up through the normal door.
Wow. Wow. Right. So
As soon as they got me in the main cabin, they took the wheelchair away anyway and led me down on the first 5 seats. So it was an old, I'm guessing a DC-8 or DC-9 or something of that era, probably 60s plane. It had the twin props rather than engines.
wow.
And there is another little bit to that the plane was actually manufactured very close to Blackpool.
Isn't it weird?
Because I saw the VIN number, the like VIN number or whatever, on the thing being loaded into the cockpit, and it said where it had been manufactured. And it was Preston, England.
Absolutely crazy. So you arrived back in the UK.
I arrived back on in the UK. I didn't know it was the UK because we were at a runway, an airfield. It wasn't a runway, so it's like
So
a
for the
bit-
viewers at home, like, you haven't flown into an international airport.
No.
You've flown it in on an airfield. That's probably a field.
A strip.
Yeah,
An airstrip, and
belonging
Is
to.
it night? Is it day?
It's night time.
So it's night time. So you're flown in under the cover of darkness.
Yeah.
You hit the ground. You're not sure if in the UK.
Yeah,
At that particular time, are you thinking, I'm home? Are you thinking, where the fuck am I? Your brother-in-law's still with you. So to a point,
yeah. I'm feeling
you're
a bit
right.
better.
You're a bit more
'cause
secure.
He's
Yeah.
there.
You just don't know where you are.
Me being me, I'm cracking a joke and trying to
So
find the humorous side of it.
against all adversity, you're still cracking jokes.
I'm still trying to be me, Like,
Brilliant.
I'm still like,
Do you know, when I'm having a bad day, I've just got to remember this guy, and if I,
That's what helps me.
yeah.
That's what helps me. Definitely.
So what point do you realise that you're back in the UK? I'm not even going to say safe because
when they
I haven't got to that
me
point yet.
off the plane, there was a taxi waiting. So someone had arranged,
Who?
I think the government minister again. I still
Oh, the one that-
yeah,
yeah.
I still believe he's the one that got me out of the country.
Have you ever asked him?
believe it's him.
Or some questions you don't need to
I
ask.
just-
isn't it? Yeah.
I'm sure. Why would he ring
Why
me
would you?
every
Yeah.
year? 19 years on, he's got a conscience. He rings me every New Year's Eve now.
It's good to know some people have. Isn't it? Good to know some people have got a conscience.
I was just going to say that's the least he can do.
Yep.
Yeah,
A pure minimum. Right, so you've arrived back in the UK.
yeah.
You've gathered you back in the UK. How? Because of the...
Because the road
Right,
signs
okay, yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. So we didn't have to go through any security. We were bundled in this cab. And
how long was the duration from where you landed to home?
The cab driver had been paid, we're told, to drive us to Preston, which at that time was my home address. However, I believe Jeff gave him some money and said, take us to Blackpool, because he dropped me off at my sister's in Blackpool.
Home safe and sound,
Yeah.
finally. So you're back in Blackpool. You're just trying to come to terms with everything that's happened. Still in pain.
Oh,
Yeah. Your legs are not working. And you have to go for another operation, is that right?
yeah, but I didn't have to go for another operation for 9 months because the local hospital, Blackpool Victoria, had not noticed, even though they x-rayed me every week, every couple of weeks, that internally I was corroding.
What do you mean?
But they'd realised that my bones were not fixed, but not dealing with it.
So even
bullet
though you're
was
back in
still
the
in you,
UK,
wasn't it?
mistakes are still being
Yeah,
happening.
it's still being made because the bullet was still in there.
And that was what was rusting.
Yeah, that was causing the rust because it was different metal to the pen that they put in.
And how long? And that was going on for 9 months.
9 months. And I was being severely ill for them 9 months. So you
I mean, I've
talk
got to be
about-
honest, I'm amazed that you've still got your legs,
Yeah,
that you're not in a wheelchair.
yeah.
4.5 years, John. 4.5
4.5
years,
years.
to walk again, and at your home, which you've shared publicly, Winkley Square,
Yeah,
climbing up the stairs.
backwards on my backside.
Because you showed me a picture, a photograph of the bullet that was still lodged
Yeah,
in the bottom left.
yeah, bottom right.
Right, sorry. And not only did they leave the bullet in, but it also reacted with water. That's what our body's made up of. And the bullet started to rust. Is that right?
They're the two different metals, so two dissimilar metals in water cause the same effect that a car battery does. So what you have is electrolysis, and it then becomes rusty. So if you remember back to the 70s and 80s cars, where we had chrome bumpers held on with nuts and bolts, and in the 70s and 80s, all cars used to corrode.
Yeah, it used to rust.
And then exactly what happened to me. Same thing, two dissimilar metals out in the water. Body's like 90% water.
So let's fast forward to where they found the bullet. Is that right? 9.5 months later.
9 months.
What did they apologise for not finding it? Did they, what
So
could they have possibly said to you that could have?
me being me,
Here we go.
I was
What's coming now?
I was still going to work, but even though I was throwing up every day, I was turning all kinds of horrible. My leg was turning black. I was still going to the estate agents every day because I needed the money to eat and pay my mortgage or whatever. I was still going. And one day, a friend of mine came in the estate agents and said, "John, you're ill. You're really ill. I can see it. You're losing weight. You look really ill." I said, "I've been ill for months. Can I use your phone?" I said, "Phone." And the person who did that was an old retired chemistry teacher from a public school in Blackpool. He'd been chemistry teacher to what is now an orthopaedic surgeon. But the young lad was still in respect of that teacher. So the young lad might have been 30 odd, but bumped into his teacher regularly and still called him sir. He had that much respect for him. So when his sir rang him and said, I've got a friend who's in a bad way, I know you're an orthopaedic surgeon now.
I'm just so glad there's a bit of good news finally
Yeah,
coming
I
in.
need you to look at my man now. Can you do it? The surgeon, his correct name's in the book, his name is Steve Mannion. Max, his correct name's in the book. Max rang Steve. Steve, where are you? I need you to see my friend now. He's in a bad way. I'm in Malawi. What you doing in Malawi? I've got a charity that does club feet. My charity is called Feet First. Great, but I've got a guy in England who I need you to see, or put him to one of your mates. He needs to see you soon. Max, don't worry. I'm in Blackpool on Monday seeing my mum.
Okay.
Before he saw his mum, he saw me. And he took me in for an operation before he'd gone to see his mum. Because he still got that much respect. I was taken into what is now a doctor's surgery, but it was Soundshore Hospital in Blackpool. Very close to where you came. Very, very close. Half a mile max from where you are. And he said, right, I'm going to open up the old wounds, see what's going on. Procedure correct this time. Injections, painkillers, the full works this time. Operated on inside a bubble. So they blew a bubble up. I couldn't see what was going on. I had a TV screen to see what was going on, but I couldn't see it physically because there's a big bubble here and I'm there and he's there operating on me. He opened me up and said, John, I know you're getting old, but you're going rusty. I mean, being me, I go, not again.
That again.
And he physically took the bullet out and the pin out and showed me. I said, oh, can I keep them? And he went, protocol.
I bet you hate that word.
I hate that word. Protocol. So he sent them off somewhere. And he operated on me. He said, I don't know if it'll work, but I've given it my best shot. So 3 4-hour operation, blood transfusion, because of course of rust everywhere, all that. Operation was maybe a Wednesday. The hospital was closing on the Friday.
Oh, wow.
For good. So they had to send me home on the Friday. This is where the bastard, excuse that, language of the estate agent is really, really...
I think that's more than forgivable.
You don't worry about that.
This is where things got really bad. So 3.5, 4-hour operation, blood transfusion. A couple of days later, the hospital have to send me home. So they send me home with new crutches. I'm living in the first floor apartment on my own, no lift. I have to get up and down the stairs on my backside. So I do that. I'm in the apartment Saturday morning. So I've been released Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, on my door, I struggled to get to the door. As you can imagine, brand new crutches, leg blown up like a balloon, blood transfusion a couple of days before. I'm in bits. I'm ill. I've lost probably a stone. I'm like in bits, and someone's banging on the door. And it was the estate agent. John, I want you to work on Monday. I'll come and pick you up. And that's all I got from him.
So after all that, he's not come round to see how you are.
Yeah.
Not come round to see what he can
never,
do to make you,
never came see me in the
to help
hospital.
you. He just came to get you to get back to work
Yeah.
on Monday. Do you know what I would have said to him?
Fuck off.
Then that's politely putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he came at 7:30 on Monday morning to make sure I was there.
And do you know what's amazing?
He went.
Well, yeah, that's definitely.
That's me.
But not named in the book.
Sorry.
And I think the people that are involved know who they are, obviously. I would suggest a lot of other people know who they are. But John has decided to not name them because there's no vengeance, there's no vendetta. Like you said
But
earlier.
doesn't that speak
No,
volumes?
not
that
at all. Not at all.
He's not
But-
angry. He's not
But that's
carrying a
exceptional, isn't
vendetta.
it?
He's not got a chip on his shoulder.
No.
Nothing.
No,
So, what year is this now?
2005.
All right, so
And
2005.
no, it'd be 2006.
Yeah, I would have thought,
second
yeah.
operation. 9 months, so kind of March, April 2006.
It's what I'm just trying to think what I was doing in 2006 in retrospect to this, and I think I was snowboarding in the Alps. And do you know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
can't remember what I was doing.
It just gives me
Yeah, no, I get you,
reference to
Yeah.
in my life what I was doing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
reference to how he was living. So we're in 2006. You've been forced back to work. What's life for you like?
Horrible. Horrendous. Just work in bed. And I couldn't sleep because I had all them pins and my legs swollen up, and I had to have I've still got neck injury that no one ever picked up on. I still have bad days, don't I, with my head and neck, and still have that. But I used to have 6 pillows in bed,
I've got them.
2 for my leg to rest my leg on, and 2 behind here and 2 for my head. And that was a long time. So I was on crutches 4.5 years.
That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
2009, I made my first step.
What was that like for you? Was that
It
like?
was like being electric shocked.
Because I remember when I broke my neck and I had to have all my supports and cage taken off,
Yeah,
and my head kept flopping forward because my muscles weren't.
yeah,
You don't realise how heavy your head is.
no,
So the first day that I could balance my own head, I thought I conquered the world. Do you know what I mean? And it was just little steps of like
yeah,
walking, putting on your socks and shoes, taking it out for a shower, getting up the stairs, sleeping in a normal bed instead of a mechanical one. Do you know what I mean? Just slowly getting your life back together. So what my question to you now is, we're in 2024.
yeah.
What's life like for you now, today?
So in 2008, I had my apartment in Preston repossessed. I was in court on my crutches, and the judge went, repossessed.
Did he know what had happened to you?
Yeah, told him everything.
Did you, as I was said previously in the conversation, just to show you how shit that governments are.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about you.
No,
Yeah.
They've got no no care about looking after you. It's just what they can get.
Money talks, which is why
Bullshit
you need to
walks.
talk louder.
Yeah.
Which is why you need to make a loud noise.
So that happened.
And was that due to you not working?
Yeah, kind of. I couldn't do what I used to do, kind of going the extra mile and earning a few quid, like, ringing people up saying, I've got a property deal for you here. Here's my bank details. Give me a sandwich for it. All that kind of thing goes on all the time, earn extra money. I said, you've been after a flat in Blackpool. I've just seen one. It's up sale with a mate of mine.
And that's how you're making money?
I was
just
getting
getting your little
making
cut of
extra
different
money
deals.
on top of my estate agent's money. Estate agents that work for someone are not well paid. The pay is poor.
So what year did you write The Fall Guy?
2023. But I'd written it in my own
That's
way
views at home.
over the years. From the day it happened, I kept making notes.
And this is released on Amazon, is that right?
Yeah.
But I'd like to obviously do as much as I can to get this book
Thank
out
you.
there. So to the viewers that want to find the book, it is on. If you would like to say to the camera, to the viewers.
Yeah, my book's on Amazon. It's Fall Guy. My name's John Cheetham. Please have a look.
And there's a lot more, John.
Yeah,
isn't there?
there's a lot more. So go on Amazon. I've got a few books on there, various poetry books that I've written.
Well, I just want this podcast to be one of many that you do.
Thank you.
To get your story turned into a movie, hopefully one day.
Yeah.
And I want everything in life that has got given to you, good, that was taken away. I want it to give back to you in abundance.
Yeah.
It's only what you deserve. And if we can help that happening with this podcast, then that's what we're here for. Is there anything else that you would like to?
No, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for the podcast. And
Thank you for choosing True Podcast.
yeah, it would be great. I'm having to, because they sold my apartment for less than I owed on my mortgage in 2008. This just shows how corrupt people are. I'm still paying that debt.
To this
And
day.
I'm 2024 and having to do an evening job to pay that.
I'm just going to come on to that. So what does John do for everyday living now? How do you survive?
I've turned my life around slightly insofar as I'm doing a degree at UCLan in Preston for Bachelor of Education in Creative Writing and English. And in the
You're also doing some Q&A sessions, is that right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we're working on that in terms of events. So, like an evening with the original Fall Guy. So not a plastic Hollywood Fall
All these
Guy,
holograms.
but yeah, exactly. But the real, and like you say, Q&A, talking about what you've just shared in the podcast, music, songs that we're writing.
Well, you're doing something with John at the moment. We're going to wrap this
Absolutely.
up now, but
Absolutely.
you're doing something with John at the moment. Do you want to tell the viewers what?
Yeah, completely. Everything John said, all of the words that John's used, whenever I hear them from my point of view, as well as his life, I hear music that goes along with that because we've collaborated on John's lyrics. Fall Guy, 4 singles released so far, so Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube.
And how's that going at the
everywhere. It's going better. It's going well. Obviously, we're doing everything ourselves. We're looking for support. Anybody out there who can
Absolutely, if we can give
who
it
can
you.
connect with us. But 4 songs for Fall Guy so far, because the vision I had when I met John over months was a soundtrack. So book to film. So I thought music is a key part to that. Music is a key role. I can do something about that. I can collaborate with John on that. Yeah. Since then, John famously said in the front room when we had a creative meeting.
Yeah.
He said, I think we could write 100 songs this year. And I thought, I've met somebody who's kind of got a creative match, and we are doing that. We're writing
Brilliant.
songs that have deep core energy in them.
I'm just glad you found each other.
Yeah.
So I've got one final question
Yeah.
for you, John, before we say goodbye. I wish you could talk all day, but I'm sure we'll get you back for part 2. Who is John in a man? Who is he? Who are you?
I always say that you should live every day as though it's your last, and learn every day as though it's your first.
Wise words.
So I think if you go by that, then you won't go far wrong. And if there's anyone out there that says you can't do this, you can't do that, etc., question it. Because I had 4 hospitals that wanted to amputate my leg, and 4 hospitals that told me I'd never walk again. And I used to question the doctors. I used to say to them, are you sure you're a doctor? Are you sure you know what day it is? You do know today's Wednesday or Monday or whatever it was. And they were like, this guy's a bit sharp. But it was the way I dealt with it. So if you're not sure about it, question everything. Because these people are human beings. Quite a lot of these doctors have never lived a real life. They've been to public school and they've gone on to become a doctor because they've got their bit of paper that says they're a doctor. But they haven't got the belief that you've got inside you. So any doctor says this and that and all the rest of it, do not believe them. Believe in you. In the morning, say to yourself in the mirror, today I'm going to have a good day.
Today is going to be a good day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note,
thank you.
thank you too. Thank you for choosing us.
Yeah.
Ray,
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you.